Ama kwa hakika ya mgambo ikilia, bila shaka kuna jambo, na kitambulisho hicho ni ishara tosha kwamba taarifa zetu za TV47 matukio zinang'oananga sasa hivi. Popote ulipo mtazamaji, ninakusabahi nikitumai kwamba Alhamisi yako imeanza na inakuendea vema. Hapa studioni hali ishwari kabisa na tuko ngangari kabisa kukuletea matukio na matokeo kadri yanavyozidi kutokea na kutukia. Mimi wako Andrin Kilemi. Kuna mengi tu tuliokuandalia kutoka hapa mjini hadi vijijini na hadi vitongojini, lakini baadhi tu ya taarifa tulizozipa kipaumbele ni pamoja na msasa wa makamishna wa Iebc, ambapo usaili wa wanaopania kuwa makamishna wa Iebc umeng'wananga hii leo. Leo ni siku ya Abduba Molo Ido, Abdi Hafid Abdullahi Yaro, Abdi Hakim Adan Abdi, Abdinur Maalim Hussein na Abraham Kipruto Langat. Mtazamaji, vile vile tunayo taarifa kuhusiana na magenge ya vijana pwani, na ni kuwa maafisa wa polisi wameweka mikakati ya kuyakabili magenge hatari ya vijana ukanda wa pwani. Vijana hao wanawataabisha wakazi katika maeneo ya Diani, Kwale na Mombasa. Isitoshe, tunayo maoni ambayo yanaendelea kutolewa baada ya Rais Ruto kumtimua waziri wa utumishi wa umma Justin Muturi. Tutakuwa tunakuletea baadhi ya hisia ambazo zinaibuka kufuatia hatua yake Rais William Ruto ya kumtimua ofisini Justin Muturi. Vile vile tunayo taarifa kuhusiana na ziara ya Rais Ruto mlimani. Viongozi wa Kirinyaga wanamkaribisha Rais Ruto katika eneo la Mlima Kenya, maandalizi kabambe yakiendelea kufanikisha ziara ya rais mlimani. Ni taarifa hizo na nyingine nyingi ambazo utakuwa unapokea papa hapa kwenye runinga uipendayo ya TV47, lakini kabla ya yote hayo tupate methali ya siku.
Methali ya leo: jamaa yenye mabishano hula ugali mbichi.
Maana ya nje: wapiganao wakati wa mapishi hushindwa kufahamu chakula kilichoiva, hivyo hula kikiwa kibichi.
Maana ya ndani ya methali hii ni kwamba wagombanao hawanyokewi na mambo.
Matumizi: hurejelea watu waliokosa kufanikiwa kutokana na ugomvi kati yao.
Ama kwa hakika wagombanao hawanyokewi na mambo, ndio methali ya siku. Karibu kwenye taarifa kamili mtazamaji. Mimi wako Andrin Kilemi, tuandamane sote hadi tamati. Mchakato wa kutafuta makamishna wa tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka nchini Iebc umeanza rasmi hii leo baada ya usaili wa mwenyekiti wa tume hiyo kukamilika hapo jana. Mchakato huo utaendelea hadi tarehe 25 mwezi Aprili, ambapo wagombea 105 wanatarajiwa kusailiwa na jopo la mchujo. Tayari Daktari Abduba Molo Ido amesailiwa mapema leo na amesisitiza umuhimu wa tume huru ya uchaguzi na mipaka kutekeleza majukumu yake bila ushawishi kutoka kwa serikali kuu.
Accountable for the resources it receives and for the actions it takes. So it is accountable, for example, to Parliament for the regulations it does. It has to be approved by Parliament. It is accountable for the monies it receives from the National Exchequer, because then they have to be audited, and if there are problems with that, then the individuals responsible will be held accountable. So they are responsible, but they are accountable to institutions that have been given different responsibilities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to ask Madam Koki, Muli to...
Thank you, Professor. Definitely, as a public officer, definitely you have to uphold the public trust. And that's also guided by my professional slogan of Iebc, which says uphold the public trust. I will be bound to pursue public interest rather than a personal interest. And I've done severally that when I was a deputy governor. I faced where issues come to my desk, and of course you see there's a conflict there. There's a clan there. There's somebody from your clan, another one from the other clan, and maybe they're looking for a job, and maybe you are supposed to, or maybe for a transfer, you have to make a decision. I have always been just, because I'm a man of God, and in Islam, one of the main etiquettes is that you should never wrong somebody. Not even not a human being, even an ant, you are not supposed to wrong it. Even an animal, you are not supposed to wrong it, because the prayer of the person who has been wronged has no veil between it to God. If that person raises his hand to God and says, "Oh God, this person has wronged me, let this happen to you, it will happen to you." So fearing that, I will never go and pursue a personal interest while holding a public office.
Thank you. Your clan elders designated you as deputy governor. During the second term, your ticket lost. They again approached the coming in regime that you be a county executive member. What is it that they found in you that they keep on asking governments to have you on board? What is it you do to them that they choose you among all other sons of your small clan to be the one to represent their interests?
I think maybe one is that they see a leadership skill in me. As I have said earlier, I assumed the role of leadership at the age of 20 when my father passed on. And I brought up my siblings, my family, held them together, educated them. At the age of 20, I matured and took that leadership position. I've also been a leader in school. I've been a library captain. I was the chairman of the Muslim Student Association at the university. I was the treasurer of the International Student Association in Japan when I was studying there. We are studying with over 46 students from 46 countries, and they saw in me that I should be the treasurer. So I believe they saw some leadership skills in me, that this person is honest, he has that leadership, he can lead us, he's fair, he's just. That's what they have seen in me, I think. Secondly, also they looked at maybe also my qualifications. Maybe they thought this is one among the best of their sons. So in every place where they think that a person is needed, they think this is the person who can really be there for us, because he is qualified. He can take a desk on the table. He can dine with the elders. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Na tukizidi kukutaarifu ni kuwa wakazi wa kaunti ya Taita Taveta wamempongeza Rais William Ruto kwa kumhifadhi katibu katika wizara ya leba Shadrack Mwadime kwenye wadhifa huo wa katibu, wakimtaja kuwa mchapakazi. Wakazi hao wakiongozwa na wazee wa jamii ya Wataita, hata hivyo, wanamrai Rais Ruto kuendelea kuwatambua na kuwakumbatia hata zaidi, huku wakiomba mwaliko wa jamii ya Wataita na Taveta katika ikulu ili kujadili masuala ya maendeleo. Julius Mariki na ukamilifu wa taarifa hiyo.
Huku kukishuhudiwa mageuzi ya hivi karibuni katika serikali kuu, wakazi katika kaunti ya Taita Taveta wamemiminia Rais William Ruto sifa na kumpongeza kwa kuendelea kumshikilia katibu katika wizara ya leba Shadrack Mwadime, wakimtaja kama mchapakazi. Na sasa tutakuwa tunapata baadhi ya kauli zao.
Tumekuja kushukuru Rais kwa kuhifadhi kijana wetu Shadrack Mwadime, pia Shadrack Mwadime kwa kazi yake. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru Rais. Nafikiri hapa kama Wataita tunaelekea vizuri. Lakini Bwana Rais, licha kwa kushukuru sana, pia tumeshukuru, tumefurahia, tunaona kuna mwelekeo. Hii ni broad based government. Tumeona ni kama umetusongeza karibu, na tunaomba utusongeze karibu zaidi, kwa sababu huyu kijana ni mchapakazi. Mahali umemhifadhi akiwa PS, nafikiri kwa akili yako na hata akili yetu wazee wa Taita na wa Taita wote, najua utamsongeza next. Kwa fikiri kuna reshuffle, maybe kuna reshuffle ya CS, najua utamweka hapo bwana rais. Msio eti mwanze kumpiga. Mkumbuke PS Mwadime si mwanasiasa, ni mchapakazi, ni mtu mwaminifu.
Kama mwenzangu wa spokesperson alivyotangulia kusema kwamba PS Mwadime ni mfano tu, Wataita ni wachapakazi. Kwa hivyo mtukufu rais, tunakuomba usiangalie uishie kwa Mwadime peke yake. Kuna watu wengi ambao wanaweza hizo kazi kutoka Taita, na as history tells us, wakati wa Jomo Kenyatta tulikuwa na Wataita wengi tu, na kama tumezana tukaongezeka, kwa nini namba ya wafanyakazi kwa serikali wao wanapungua wakati Wataita wanaongezeka?
Kusisitiza tu yale wazee wamesema ni kwamba tumekuwa na mawaziri katika serikali zilizopita, na tunaomba kwamba tupewe pia mawaziri, na mfano tuliotoa bora ni huyu bwana PS Shadrack Mwadime aweze kupewa wizara na ataweza kufanya zile ambazo nafasi hatujapatiwa. Pia tunaomba tukumbukwe, ndio tuko broad based, lakini pwani Taita pia Taveta County pia ni sehemu, pia ni pwani. Kwa hivyo tukumbukwe kwa hapo. Mzima tu imeimbwa sana, na tungependa kama Taita wa Taveta kwamba jambo la mzima tu pia tunapoelekea mwaka wa kura 2027 pia iwe pia campaign agenda. Tunataka wakati wa mwaka 2027 mzima tu iwe tayari imefanyika nini, either imeanzwa, inaenda kumalizika na watu wanafaidika na hayo maji.
Ni baadhi tu ya kauli zao, ambapo sasa wanamrai Rais William Ruto kukutana na baadhi ya wazee wa kaunti hii ya Taita Taveta kuwakilisha jamii ili kuzungumza naye katika ikulu ya rais. Nikiripotia TV47, mimi ni Julius Mariki Mwakibo.
Asante sana Julius Mariki kwa uketo wa taarifa hiyo. Vijana viongozi kutoka maeneo tofauti nchini wamekaribisha uteuzi wa mwenzao Fikirini Jacobs kama katibu katika idara ya vijana na michezo. Vijana hao wakiongozwa na mwenyekiti wao Victor Njero wametaja hatua hiyo kama mwamko mpya kwa vijana na imani ya rais kwamba vijana pia wanaweza kuongoza. Fikirini ambaye ana umri wa miaka 28 amewahi kuhudumu kama kiongozi wa vijana katika chama cha ODM na wanafunzi katika vyuo vikuu vya Pwani na Masai Mara.
On behalf of the youth, I would like to assure you that we are ready to rise to the occasion, to learn, to serve and to contribute within the energy, creativity and dedication that this task requires. We are committed to build a better future for us all. We know that it's either you are on the table or you are in the menu. When you are on the table, you are safe because you are eating. But when you are on the menu, you are being eaten. Comrades, I want to tell you that now you are in the table. We are in the table where decisions are being made, and you are the table where now we can make the decision that we have always wanted to do.
We call upon all the youth of this country, from all their villages, to come out and contribute to the economic growth of this country. The National Youth Council is in a crisis, and we believe the first assignment, the first document on the table of our Bwana Ebo PS will be the National Youth Council.
Na huku haya yakijiri, serikali za Kenya na Marekani zitaandaa kongamano kubwa la uchumi wa ubunifu baadaye mwaka huu. Haya yaliafikiwa katika mkutano kati ya waziri wa masuala ya vijana, uchumi na ubunifu wa michezo Salim Mvurya na balozi wa Marekani nchini Kenya Mark Dillard. Kongamano hilo linalolenga kuimarisha ubunifu na ustawishaji wa talanta linatazamiwa kuwakutanisha wabunifu kutoka nchi hizo mbili ambao watabadilishana mawazo na kuongeza fursa za sekta ya ubunifu ikiwemo tasnia ya filamu. Waziri Salim Mvurya ameelezea kwamba mpango huo ulitokana na mazungumzo yaliyofanyika wakati wa ziara ya Rais William Ruto huko Atlanta nchini Marekani mwaka jana.
We are very, very focused on how we can inspire the creative economy in Kenya, and therefore we are discussing a forum, an upcoming forum, which we will announce in the coming months to see how we can also bring on board US creative participants who can be very useful to inspire the economy of our country. We know that we have a lot of youth in the creative economy and arts, and therefore we are targeting to see how we can also create an enabling environment on matters policy for the government of Kenya, and also the kind of legislation that we can come up with. But the most important thing that we are taking away from this meeting is the continuous engagement, to ensure that we make it a reality.
Youth is our future, so finding opportunities for the youth and connecting the opportunities and the creative talent and knowledge in the United States with Kenyans is one of our objectives for this year. One of the things we're trying to focus on. So really look forward to continuing this partnership.
Na mtazamaji, unazidi kufuatilia taarifa hizi kupitia mitandao yetu yote ya kijamii. Kwenye mtandao wetu wa Facebook tuko live ni TV47 Kenya. Vilevile utatupata pale kwenye mtandao wa YouTube, na kwenye X pia tupo ni @TV47 News, nami pia utanipata @Kilemi_Andrin. Na kama njia mojawapo ya kuboresha mikakati ya uvumbuzi katika sekta ya kilimo na vilevile kuboresha mifumo ya chakula, Chuo Kikuu cha Murang'a kwa ushirikiano na huduma ya kitaifa ya matumizi ya bioteknolojia ya kilimo kimeandaa mkutano wa mazungumzo kuhusu bioteknolojia ya kilimo. Kwa sasa tunaungana naye mwanahabari wetu Robert Gakure akiwa katika kongamano hilo, atueleze zaidi kuhusu mazungumzo yanayoendelea. Gakure?
Naam, shukran. Na mbashara kutoka kaunti ya Murang'a na kupokea kwa njia iliyo sawa. Na hii leo tuko katika kongamano lililoandaliwa katika Chuo Kikuu cha Murang'a kwa ushirikiano na huduma ya kitaifa ya matumizi ya bioteknolojia ya kilimo. Na hii ni kusaidia katika kuboresha uvumbuzi katika kilimo. Na ningependa kuwashirikisha ambao wameandaa hafla hii ya leo karibia hapa. Tuanze kwa jina, tuambie hafla ya leo ama mkutano wa leo unalenga nini?
Asante sana. Mkutano wa leo ni ya mambo ya tunaongea juu kuhusu bioteknolojia na vile inaweza kusaidia ukulima. Sasa tunataka kupeana information ile ambayo ni collect, ili watu wajue uzuri wa bioteknolojia, hasa chakula zile zimetengenezwa na teknolojia tunaita genetically modified organisms. Umuhimu wake ni gani? Na ni information gani ambayo ni ya ukweli na ambayo sio ya ukweli, ili tuwe tunajua ni gani tunaweza kushukua ya ukweli na ni gani tunajua sio ya ukweli, ili inaweza kutusaidia kwa kilimo yetu.
Pengine kutumia miundo ya uvumbuzi itasaidiaje kuboresha kilimo?
Uvumbuzi unakuwa na maana mingi. Kitu ya kwanza ni kufanya mmea uwe na mazao mengi. Unatengeneza mmea ambayo inakupea mazao mengi zaidi. Ingine ni ile kuzuia wadudu na magonjwa. Alafu ingine ni ile ya kuzuia mambo ya kuwa na kiangazi. So ukiangalia hizo zote, mambo ya research inasaidia kuimprove the varieties kwa yields, increase in yields, resistance to pests and diseases, and also to drought and nutritional qualities. Thank you.
Sana. Niweze kuwashirikisha ambao wamekuwa katika kutengeneza chakula za mifugo. Tuanze kwa jina, tuambie mkutano wa leo utawasaidia vipi?
Okay. Tunashukuru kwa nafasi ambayo tumepata kama wa umoja wa tengenezaji wa vyakula vya mifugo. Cha kwanza, huu mkutano ni vile tunavyotaka kukazia kwamba katika sekta nyingine na taaluma nyingine teknolojia imetumiwa ku address the challenges that industry is facing. In medicine, in communication, in transport, teknolojia imetumiwa ku address the challenges that hiyo industry ina face. Livestock industry ina contribute almost 12% of national GDP, na feed is a very big ingredient in addressing or in the livestock sector. So feed ndio imebaki tu nyuma katika ku-embrace technology, na tunafikiria huu mkutano utakuwa mzuri sana kwa kuhamasisha hata hawa wasomi wa sasa kama the children in the learners in the university to start embracing agriculture and start to think about the solution they can give us as feed millers in solving the problem we are having, the problem of low access to raw materials we use in animal feed production. Teknolojia ambayo inatumika katika milling ni zingine ni za zamani sana, na tuna hope this meeting will sensitize the learners and the researchers in university to start talking to us, because we'll offer employment to them, but we need them to bring technology to us so that we can address the national challenges of feed.
Asante. Tumalizie na mwisho kwa kifupi kabisa, tuambie mkutano hii unamaanisha nini katika kuboresha kilimo?
Kuboresha kwa majina, mimi naitwa Dr. Gakuo Mwangi, mimi natoka kutoka shirika yenye inatengeneza chakula hapa Kenya, inaitwa Association of Kenya Feed Manufacturers. Huu mkutano utakuja kutusaidia sana kwa sababu unaongelea mambo ya kutumia teknolojia ama ufumbuzi kwa kutengeneza chakula chenye tunatumia kwa mifugo. Wakati huu tuko na shida kubwa sana nchi mzima, wakulima wako na shida kubwa sana kwa sababu bei za chakula zimeenda juu sana. Wakati mwingine ikiwa ni hii biashara wako nazo za mifugo hasifanyi vizuri, na hizo zote zinatusaidia kwa mambo ya food security na pia biashara zenye wanafanya hawa wakulima wanafanya. Asante.
Na ni kongamano ambalo tutaendelea kufuatilia, ambayo yataweza kujadiliwa, ili katika taarifa zetu ambazo zitaweza kufuata tukuletee taarifa hii kwa njia iliyo sawa. Kwa niaba ya runinga ya TV47 nikiregesha usukani kwenye studio, jina langu ni Robert Gakure.
Asante sana Robert Gakure, mwandishi wetu wa habari kutoka Murang'a, hapo akizungumza na wataalam wa kilimo. Katika taarifa nyingine, mtazamaji, ni kuwa waziri wa afya nchini Aden Duale pamoja na washikadau mbalimbali wamehimiza Wakenya kudumisha amani kwa kuepuka migogoro kuhusu dini. Akizungumza katika dhifa ya iftari jijini Nairobi, Duale amewataka wananchi kuwa kwenye mstari wa mbele kueneza amani bila ya kubagua dini wala rangi.
Please, let's all cherish that space of freedom of worship. And our Constitution is even very clear that you cannot discriminate a citizen of this country based on his religion, on his dress, on the food of that religion. Our different faith, be it Islam or Christianity or Hindu or Sikh or others, underscores the need for us in our different capacities to foster peace, to foster unity, and to foster tolerance.
In the world, there are various places people do not have peace. Around us, just within the region, look at the Sudan, what is going on. South Sudan, DR Congo, Somalia. I ask all the Kenyans from different backgrounds, from different races, from different religion, to embrace peace and unity.
I think we are very lucky to have the kind of values we have in Kenya, which is a pluralistic nation that encourages freedom of faith, that encourages diversity, and for that we thank God and we thank our political leadership as well.
So what are we saying is we need to respect each other. Let us all believe in what we believe in, but humanity is the word. And it should not be, religion should not be a tool to be used to segregate humanity.
Na tukisonga mbele, mtazamaji, sasa tuzamie masuala ya afya, na ni kuwa chama cha madaktari wa wanawake pamoja na wakunga nchini kwa ushirikiano na viongozi wa kidini nchini wameandaa mkutano katika kaunti ya Nairobi kuangazia swala la vifo vya uzazi nchini, hasa kutokana na kuvuja damu baada ya kujifungua.
Inaction. The cost of inaction. So you say advocacy, Prof. Bimbo will do that, or Anne will do that. That's the champion we know. Cost of inaction. My students are here. You still remain my students even much as you've qualified. And you know the kind of noise I make. And I keep saying, be louder than I am. But most of us, somebody else will do that. Somebody else will do that. Excuse me, put your boots and do the walking and the talking. I keep saying, step up, step out, speak out. In Figo, they now know there's a noisemaker that we are familiar with. And I make noise anywhere. I wish I had gone to GLN. That's Ramaphosa. Yeah? But in all honesty, you've got to be counted. That's the accountability I'm talking about. Financing is a big elephant. And whether we like it or not, we've got to think about it. But I can ring fence financing for M&H, but is it going where it's supposed to go? That's the more critical question to be answered. Again, Saram. There's Serem and Saram. Yeah? Service readiness and availability to make a difference. So if you're saying you're going to take care and survive my premature baby, because a lot of the babies are coming out prem. Am I correct, pediatricians in the house? And we have something we're calling now the Prem Prep 5. Prem Prep 5. I won't go into details. But there are certain things you can do to make that premature baby survive better. 5 things that you need to do. But have you put your money in the right place? What does that mean? I then look at Professor Ogengo. The research agenda. The research agenda into maternal newborn health. Implementation.
Na mtazamaji, ni taarifa ambayo mwandishi wetu wa habari Anastasia Mukabi anafuatilia. Bila shaka utakuwa unaipokea kwa ukamilifu wake kwenye taarifa zetu za hapo baadaye mwendo wa saa 1 na saa 3 mtawalia. Kumbuka unazidi kufuatilia taarifa zetu mbashara kupitia mitandao yetu yote ya kijamii. Kwenye mtandao wa Facebook ni TV47 Kenya, kwenye mtandao wetu wa X ni @TV47 News, nami utanipata @Kilemi_Andrin. Kwa sasa tunapunga unyunyu kidogo, tukirejea tunarejea na mengi zaidi.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Aurora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home, do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water.
Yes, should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget, regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2. What position were you? Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi.
Karibu tena mtazamaji, asante sana kwa kuzidi kufuatilia runinga hii ya TV47. Unatazama kipindi hiki cha TV47 Matukio, na sasa moja kwa moja tunasanzuka hadi katika sehemu ambapo usaili na msasa wa makamishna wa Iebc unazidi kufanyika. Kumbuka ni siku ya kwanza hapo jana msasa wa wale ambao walikuwa wanawania wadhifa wa mwenyekiti ulikamilika, na hii leo awamu mpya imeanza rasmi, na baadhi ambao wanahojiwa ni Abduba Molu Ido ambaye alihojiwa akiwa wa kwanza, akafuatiwa kwa karibu na Abdi Hafid Abdullahi Yaro, na sasa ni wakati wake Abdi Hakim Adan Abdi ambaye anapigwa msasa. Tunasanzuka kule moja kwa moja tupate kusikia ni yapi yanajiri. Tazama.
Gave me quite an exposure. I was dealing with cross-border programs, managing staff, implementing policy issues, whether it is human resource, procurement, and what you call project affected persons policies, and monitoring and evaluation framework policies, and all that. And the context itself. I was working in a fragile context where we were basically providing what was supposed to be government services, and large-scale humanitarian programs, which actually included even cash interventions. And I had a portfolio of staff that I was managing in that context. I've also worked as a research associate, and where I was doing policy research and consultancy work. Along the line of my experience, and thereafter, anyway, after admission, after I was admitted to the bar, I immediately founded my own law firm practice in the name of Abdul Hakim and Co-Advocates, and I have grown that to a firm of 2 partners and 5 advocates and other support staff, which we offer services to government agencies, private entities, and I've worked with quite a number of government agencies in terms of legal services. All the premier corporations actually in the country in terms of, and I'm still including the commission. I'm actively handling matters for the commission, and it's good that to disclose that at this stage. The
commission, you mean IBC?
Yes.
Okay.
So the net effect of all that work experience is that it has given me, and especially even my recent exposure to electoral processes. We have been trained on electoral processes by the Commission and UNDP, election technology issues of dispute resolution, and we're actively exposed actually to the process and everything. So the net effect of my experience in terms of policy, in terms of management, finance, and the diverse background gives me the feeling that I can fit into this role, and that is why I applied for the position. So that is the reason in terms of my general introduction. Chair, on the same note, I want to add an additional issue, which is the issue of persons with disabilities. In my close interactions with Iebc and in the course of preparation of this interview, I've gone through reports and I've had first-hand interaction with the commission. And the law, a lot of principles, legal principles on inclusions of persons with disabilities and marginalized in electoral processes. The Constitution provides express articles on even percentages, on inclusivity, and then it also forms as part of the general principles of electoral processes, like fair representations of persons with disabilities. The chapter, or rather the article incorporating IEBC in the Constitution, talks about fair representation of persons with disabilities. The IEBC Act goes ahead and talks about persons with disabilities. The point I'm trying to make is that I'm not the only person with disability who has been shortlisted and applied for this position, but this panel has a unique opportunity to include into its consideration a segment of the society that ordinarily feels left out. And years after the promulgation of the Constitution, we're still paying lip service to constitutional principles, because it talked about progressive realization, Article 54. And we had to realize that. I think the only recent commission that made such a consideration was the Public Service Commission. And whatever decision that is made at the apex transcends to the voter. It transcends to the commission staff. I was looking at the report of Uraia Trust on the 2022 elections, and the voter registration itself excludes that group of the society. It says of all the total registered voters, only 0.7%, it's hardly even 1%. 0.7% of the registered voters are PWDs, and that is not the population of PWDs. So whatever decisions that are made at the apex transcend to the lowest level. So with that remark, I think I'll proceed to take your questions.
Thank you very much, Madam Linda, kindly.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Abdi.
Yes, Commissioner.
You are in a very unique position,
yes,
whereby you are differently abled,
yes,
and you are also a youth,
yes,
per se.
how do you intend to use your uniqueness and harness that uniqueness in the event that you were fortunate to be given this position of a member of IEBC? And of course, how would you change the attitude of the young people and the differently abled in that position in Kenya today?
Thank you. I intend to use that opportunity, if so granted, to relate with the sections of the society, including youth, PWDs, that feel excluded from mainstream election processes, and in line with the Commission's mandate. So that will extend to voter registration. It will extend to the Commission, within the Commission itself, in terms of recruitment of staff and compliance with constitutional standards, the voter registration process, and make them a stakeholder in this process, so that the noise on the continuous exclusion is put to a stop. And so the voter registration process, the staffing process of the Commission itself, inviting them as stakeholder partners in the forums relating to election processes, and one of the roles of the Commission, as per the IEBC Act itself, is the issue of regulation of political parties itself is also there on the processes. So and making sure that political parties also comply with the inclusion of such parties.
And how, noting that your constituents,
yes,
the Gen Zs and the younger citizens of this country, noting that they are more into social media, and they are very enthusiastic about technology. How would you involve them into voter registration and enlighten them about their voting rights, noting that they are people of TikTok and X and Facebook, generally social media?
So I think, as you said, to reach that segment of the society, definitely you have to adopt their ways, and their ways is the current technology of social media and voter education processes, voter registration processes. Should adopt to the current technologies, including artificial intelligence, AI, in voter education and even the registration of using current technologies, whether it's blockchain or any applicable technology. Once we do probably a review of the technology regulations of the Commission, and that will be a priority to incorporate those current technologies in voter education, voter registration, so that we are up to date and relate with. We don't exclude in any group in the process of the electoral process. That is.
Let me ask.
Okay.
When were you admitted to the bar? 2017. I see that prior to that, you had worked as a consultant in the Ministry of Devolution and Planning.
So, and I was not working in my individual capacity. I was working, and I was given a project of the referendum, defunct Justice and Constitutional Affairs Ministry. I was still a student at the law school, but I had done referendum on civic education in northern Kenya, in the three counties.
So you were working as a consultant?
As a consultant with an organization and purely on civic education of the referendum on the Constitution 2010.
When did you join university?
I joined 2010.
In the year 2010?
Yes.
So did you have any educational background that you were consulting on? Because a consultant is a professional.
Well, And I think I had done, by then I had done my constitutional law 1 and 2. And basically what you are doing is educating members of the public, enlightening them on the upcoming referendum. And I was engaged to that effect by the organization called Southern Aid then.
If I heard you right, you said you joined university in the year 2010.
Yes.
And this is the same year that you worked as a consultant.
Yes.
For the Ministry of Devolution.
You know, I was not given an individual consultancy because I did not have the capacity to take an individual consultancy. But I have done the civic education relating to the referendum under the organization. Okay. So I was tasked with that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You also
probably a question of semantics.
You also did legal advisory and litigation support for several government agencies,
yes,
including Uwezo Fund,
yes,
oversight.
Yes.
What educational background did you have to offer?
So Uwezo,
just hold on, sir.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Okay.
What professional background did you have to offer such legal advisory and litigation support when you, I assume this was before you finished your degree? Was it the same year, 2010?
No.
That was prior?
I think it was towards the end of my law degree for Uwezo Fund.
That was at the end?
Yes. So let me elaborate.
But
yes,
let me finish first before you answer.
Okay.
Legal advisory and litigation support, you gave that and you were paid money, you know, in forms of either allowances or salaries or fees when you had not yet finished your degree in law. Am I right?
So let me
expound.
Okay, let me expound on that. My engagement with Uwezo Fund again was not in my individual capacity, though I've not stated the organization in my CV. It was a consultancy firm called Northlink Development Consultants, and again, probably not litigation, because there was no any litigation process actually involved in that, but it was legal advisory and business advisory services to groups that we were doing trainings, legal support in terms of how to register a company. We were not really doing the registration itself. We were training them on that.
What is the name of the consulting firm?
It's called Northlink Development Consultants.
And you were? In what capacity?
I was engaged as an individual consultant still.
So you still consulting legal advisory for a consulting firm, and you did not have...
I had finished my law degree. I was not practicing before a court. I was using my law degree to offer advisory services.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. By then, I had secured admission at Kenya School of Law, and I had finished my law degree. And it was about business advisory services, legal advisory, and not court representation.
Only, Chair,
so
to note that legal advisory and consulting work should be done by advocates of more than 25 years of practice. That is a very serious and major work to be done, because you're offering consulting services according to the experience that you have in a certain profession.
I'll request to respond to that issue. Before a consultancy firm, this is a tendering process. It's a tendering process. So before a consultancy firm is awarded a contract to provide any services, they have to submit a bid. That bid has the CVs of the individuals that are required to form part of that consultancy assignment. And this consultancy, ordinarily how it works, is that it will have terms of reference. The terms of reference will provide the specific CVs of the persons they're looking for. It's within their mandate to state that they're looking for somebody with a law degree as part of the team. And as it was incorporated as such into that consultancy. I was not providing any illegal service.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you are legal aid officer in 2011?
It was nothing relating to, again, court issues. It was within, first as an intern, and later on, refugee status determinations, advising them on basic resettlement plans. They were doing what they called security interviews and such.
Was this an attachment, or you are an
I
officer? Because
began
in
as an
2011 I
attachment.
figured out.
I began as an attachment, and then later on as an officer, but it wasn't long also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Madam Caro, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Abdi, just for my own clarity.
Yes.
Which year did you graduate? Again?
2014.
From the university?
Yes.
And which year did you finish your diploma in law?
I finished 2016. I was late, and then when I finished my pupillage, I finished my pupillage in 2016. I was admitted in 2017.
Okay.
March 2017.
So allow me to follow up from where Linda left.
Yes.
My colleague.
Yes.
What in your training?
Yes.
Kindly speak to the mic. Speak
Sorry.
to the mic. Yeah, thank you.
What is in your? Is it audible? What is in your training?
Yes.
And expertise that
Yes.
you have gained over the years?
Yes.
Speaks to the work of IBC, and how does that help in your role should
Yes.
you become successful?
Yes.
In the IBC's realizing the IBC's mandate.
Okay. My understanding of the role of IEBC, and specifically not the commission but the commissioners, is first of all an oversight function to begin with, and probably the second role I'll say is a strategic, providing strategic directions to the organization, and policy formulation role. Yeah. So as per the Act, Section 11, I think. So as I stated earlier, I had a background in the NGO sector, and I was working in an organization that had different thematic aspects, whether it is humanitarian or governance and all that. I was managing staff, and quite a number. And what that entailed is I was oversighting on their daily operations. I was managing programs, and I said cash programs, even cash programs. I was managing, other humanitarian programs, and that has given me an exposure in terms of management level requirements that is needed for this role. We were doing policy issues also. We were internal policy documents, whether it is on HR, whether it is on procurement, monitoring and evaluation framework, to ensure that projects are in compliance with either internal requirement or donor requirements, and that has given me an exposure on policy development. I also worked as a research assistant somewhere, and that has also given me the experience on policy development. So yeah, and then even in my current role as a managing partner, I still manage people. I offer advisory services on policy issues, and I think that has prepared me for the roles that is required for this commission.
All right. How many people are in your management at your law firm?
With two partners.
Your two partners.
Yes.
And members of staff?
Including support. I have 3 advocates and 5 support staff.
Okay. So you speak about the policy formulation
Yes.
as one of the key mandate
Yes.
of the IBC.
Yes.
I assume
Yes.
in reference to its mandate on
Yes.
elections and other things.
Mm.
So how do you now bring in your responsibility, your experience in policy formulation? What policies do you foresee being engaged in, and how do you assist the IBC in realization of its mandate to policy development?
if I got your question correctly, and you're asking about what policies I'll
You have explained to us that previously in your own work
Yes,
experiences,
yes.
you have been involved in policy development.
Yes.
Now, out of that experience,
Yes.
can you explain to us some of the areas that you foresee you could engage in policy development at the IBC in order to ensure that IBC realizes its mandate?
So,
how are you going to get involved, and what areas are those?
I think one area that I'll want to develop a policy will be issues relating on technology, considering the impact it has on the performance of the Commission and on the performance of its function. Another area will be whether or not if it exists, well and good, we'll strengthen it. If it doesn't, then we'll develop it, and it's on monitoring and evaluation framework, and probably a governance charter if it doesn't exist.
Okay, allow me to do a follow-up question.
Okay.
Let's speak technology.
Okay.
You spoke about technology as one of the areas that you foresee.
Okay.
Which areas particularly about technology are you seeing you getting involved in, or what recommendations are you making?
So technology is an evolving thing. Every day is a new concept, and in as much as the Commission is currently using technology, or rather it has used in its previous elections, one of the areas probably I'll introduce is how do we intend to leverage, for instance, and probably at policy level on AI, like on voter education. How can we leverage it on voter registration process? How can we leverage technology on stakeholder engagements, for instance, and such aspects of it?
I expected you'd speak specifically, practically. What are those specific things that you'll do that we realize maybe?
I said voter registration using AI.
What about voter registration, for example? That technology you will get involved in policy development.
Well, in practical sense, let me pick the example of voter education. Voter education. So probably doing information simulations on voter education, on the role of the Commission, public awareness, and all that. Yes.
Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to ask Madam Koki Muli to also ask you some questions kindly. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Wakili.
Yes.
It's still morning. Good morning again.
Good morning to you.
I would like to bring you now to the electoral cycle so that we can have a very brief discussion around it. You are aware of the electoral cycle?
Yes.
Could you tell the members of the panel and those that are watching you from home, what are the phases, not activities, the phases in the electoral cycle?
I think the phases of the electoral cycle. I think the electoral cycle begins with voter registration, and probably preceded by voter education. Voter education, which but the key element is the voter registration process. And then afterwards, within the period, of course, is voter or rather inspection of the voter register after that registration process. I don't know if I'm going into specifics or answering your question. The inspection of the voter register by the respective voters at grassroots level.
Thank you, Wakili.
Okay.
Let me ask you another question.
Okay.
Related, one of the activities in the electoral phases and the electoral cycle is the regular audits of the voters register.
Yes.
Can you tell the panel why it is critical to audit voters register and what we do with those audits?
So the reason as to why it is critical is to inspire, first of all, public confidence and trust in the Commission.
Why?
Because
why do they inspire public?
Because it shows the transparency of the process, like that this thing was generated in a very transparent process, and that is why it's a consistent recommendation after every election that voter register audits be done actually before the election, that is, and the same thing also extends to I think the technology that is in use.
Thank you very much, Wakili, and all the best.
Thank you
very much, Chair.
Thank you. Allow me to ask FCPA Tanwi to also ask you some questions. Tanwi, kindly.
Thank you, Chair. And Bwana Abdi.
Yes.
What is the nature of your PWD? The nature of your disability?
I didn't really get that question.
Huh?
I have an injury in my left leg, so it's physical.
It's physical?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now.
Right, that is. Right leg, I said, sorry. I have a physical disability in my left right leg.
Your right leg?
Yes, and I've lived with it, so it's not a recent anything.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, having been admitted in 2017, that should be around 8 years. So what unique skill or expertise that you think you're bringing to IEBC, in the governance of IEBC? The specific one that we know, this is my expertise, this is the skill that will take IEBC to the next level.
So, as I said earlier, my experience starts before my admission, and I'm of diverse background. What I'm bringing is the resource mobilization skill, having worked in an environment that works on fundraising and project development, donor relations, and all that. And considering the Commission always has funding deficits for its activities, I of the view that I'm bringing on board resource mobilization skills. Secondly, I've been engaged in dispute resolution in my practice, and representing the Commission and all that. So I'm bringing dispute resolution skills,
so
both in practice.
Those are enough.
Yes.
I wanted the one that you are saying, this is me, this
Yes.
is Abdi.
And negotiation skills. I'm also bringing negotiation skills to the table.
So it's resource mobilization?
Dispute resolution skills
resolution.
and negotiations.
Now, what would you say on this statement that IBC should actually be funded 100% by government? It should not rely on any donor funding. What would you say on that?
I didn't get that question clearly, sir.
Saying,
yes,
there is this understanding or belief that the elections of this country
Yes.
should be funded by the government
Okay.
through national resources,
Okay.
rather than being funded by donors or external partners. What is your take on that? And I'm raising that on the basis that you said your key skill is resource mobilization.
Well, funding comes in different forms. It's both. It can be in kind, and there are repeatable international organizations that specifically focused on issues of elections, don't necessarily have an interest in a country's or rather election, that is, an interest. I mean, any personal interest. And it can come in kind, in form of training. For instance, UNDP has been a consistent partner of Independent Electoral and Panelist Commission, and I don't think I agree with that conclusion.
Thank you, Chair. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to ask Evans Misati to also ask you some questions. Kindly, Evans.
Thanks so much, Chair. Abdi,
Yes,
allow
sir.
me also to ask you a question.
Okay.
Related to the roles of the Secretariat,
Okay.
vis-a-vis the roles of the commissioners. If
So-
you find favor
Mhm.
and get to be the commissioner of IPC,
Yes.
what would you do if you find that some of the preparations which the Secretariat has done when the Commission was not there, particularly in the boundary delimitation and preparation of the work plan, have factored in the role of the commissioners? What will you do as a member of the Commission?
So to begin with, I've said earlier, the role of the commissioners is policy formulation, oversight, and that is oversighting the Secretariat itself, and providing strategic directions. The role of the Secretariat is day-to-day management of the Commission affairs. So if I find that I'm appointed and I find that there is some responsibilities or activities that were the exclusive role of the commissioners that were undertaken by the Secretariat, then the reasonable thing to do and the legal thing to do will be to correct that, because it's something that affects the election process.
So are you saying you'll discard everything and cancel everything and start afresh?
Well, to the extent that, first of all, it's good to analyze the effect of that decision itself. What is the effect of that on the election process? Because the other stakeholders, and there is a reason as to why there is the constitutional requirement of the commissioners and the Secretariat. So if it's something is the exclusive reserve of the commissioners, and it has been done by the Secretariat, then definitely we have to correct it depending on the weight of that issue.
Thanks so much. Now, going back to the mandate of the Commission,
Yes.
why do you think is the mandate of the commissioners, or rather the IPC as a body, to actually have a role in the code of conduct of the candidates and the parties?
Why? Come again? I didn't get that question.
The development of the code of conduct.
Yes.
For the candidates and the parties participating in elections. Why do you think IPC has to be involved in the conduct of the parties?
The parties and the candidates.
Code of conduct.
The code of conduct of the parties and the candidates.
Yes.
Because it goes into the integrity of the election. Then the Commission has a responsibility as per the Act and the Constitution to regulate political parties and candidates.
Chair, thanks so much. I wish you well.
Thank you, sir.
Abdi, Asante.
Thank you very much. Ms. Fatuma Saman, kindly.
Thank you, Chair. And Abdi Hakim.
Yes.
I would understand why someone who was able to score an A from Habaswe in a secondary school would be able to have meaningful impact in their work and be able to contribute in a workplace even before they graduate. So, from an educator's point of view, it's exceptionality. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that part. You see, we are brought up to take up responsibilities at an early age. And when we come to this town, we don't really depend on any siblings, or you have to go, and even when you have a break and everything. So actually, I have an interesting story. My first encounter with elections was when I was in my primary school, so that it doesn't become a surprise why I was working when I was in university. I was in class 7, and that is 202. There was recruitment of election officials. I had not even yet finished my primary schooling. So in my village, there was a shortage of electoral clerks for that election of 202. I was in class 7 then, and I participated in that election as a polling clerk. Of course, I faced frustrations in terms of my payments because I didn't even have an ID, but my presiding officer came to my rescue, and I was paid for the service that I've done. So I started that early.
Thank you very much for that. And as a member, if you are successful and become a member of the IEBC, how would we ensure that the Commission tracks and responds to media reports on its work, and how would, while doing that, maintain impartiality and neutrality and professionalism in the process?
So I think what I'll suggest, the way to track and respond to, you said media reports. I think that will be, I'll set up a communication monitoring unit, so that can track whatever information that needs to be clarified by the Commission. If it relates to an issue of disinformation, then probably even go further and utilize technology. If you've ever had this is something they're calling Facebook election war room that was utilized in EU elections and India to counter disinformation, because it's an entire industry of its own that undermines the credibility of elections. And I think that is what I'll do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Nicodemus Bore, please come on and ask the candidate some questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Maybe to start off, would you say you are a Gen Z?
I don't think I'm a Gen Z, but I think I can be a link between the Gen Z and the yeah, because I've exited. I'm 36 now, but I can be a link and I can relate with the issues well.
So you are which set? You are an alpha?
Millennial.
You are a millennial?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think the advertisement that IEBC selection panel gave favors a Gen Z or a millennial?
Well,
in terms of qualifications?
Well, if you ask for my perspective, I think unless you do some, go the extra length, the way I have tried to supplement my experience, I think if you ask for my fair opinion, it's difficult for a Gen Z to fit into the requirements of the appointment for a commissioner, because it's not just about educational qualification. It goes beyond that, and that is the difficulty.
So do you think it's having watched the IEBC commissioners before and having looked at their job reference and the terms of reference, you think it's easy to acquire that experience, or you need to acquire it before you get to that work?
Acquiring, I don't know if I got you correctly, acquiring the experience?
You need to acquire some kind of experience before you are employed
Definitely, because it's a high-stake job, and considering the nature of it and the different stakeholders that are involved in that process, it requires somebody with at least some bit of exposure of work to fit into that commission.
The reason why I'm asking this question is because Madam Vice Chair had asked you about the consultancy.
Yes.
And from experience, I believe consultancy, you need also to acquire some experience.
Yes.
And will you, if given a chance, will you change the CV to read consultancy support so that you don't have to answer so many hard questions about consultancy?
Well, I don't think I'll change anything because the way I explained is you can consult on what you know, and by the time I finish my law degree, I think I'll be able enough to educate my people and explain to them a constitutional document that is, for an upcoming referendum. I think if my law degree does not enable me to explain that these are the issues people are voting on, these are the issues people are voting on, and create awareness on that, then I think it's of no value. I don't have to do Kenya School of Law. In fact, constitutional law is not even a subject in Kenya School of Law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please tell these panels members a situation where you had to make critical decisions that could have been influenced either by nepotism, favoritism, or improper motives, and how you were able to face that situation and handle it.
So I think I said earlier that I worked in a fragile context. I was doing cross-border programs for an NGO. And in the course of duty of my work, I encountered multiple issues that I'll say were critical and it required critical decision making. One such instance is, without going to the nitty-gritty of it, is a situation where some of our staff were actually abducted. By militias, and we had to maneuver and use the elder system, because if it will have come to the attention of the abductors that these were NGO staff, then it will have actually risked their life, because NGOs are not supposed to operate in that platform or other area. Another issue I'll say, that required continuous critical decision making is we were involved in a cash program, and what that brings is it brings multiple interests from different parties, be it government agencies or individuals who are working in government. We were giving money to people who are in internally displaced camps. So what that entails is there are people who are called gatekeepers of those IDPs, and we had to make the difficult decisions of maneuvering such an issue.
Thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I want to ask Prof to ask you some questions kindly. Prof.
Thank you, Chair. And just like in your case with the first candidate, let me first declare that Abdi Hakim was my classmate when I did law in Gumbaro. So I was a student with millennials. I was already teaching at the university, but I was also a student. every time my colleagues came, they would ask me, what are you doing here? I attended all the classes, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
So his pupillage and his admission coincides with mine. And unlike you and your former colleague, we have bumped into each other in the Nairobi streets.
Yeah, many times.
And he's always asked me, what are you doing? I've always asked him, what are you doing? So my questions is to my peer in the law profession. So Abdi Hakim, I want to follow up.
Yeah, Prof.
On what the Vice Chair and Bore have asked you.
Yes.
And they have asked it in good faith.
Yeah.
Where you say, you see, every profession has its nomenclature.
Yes.
And therefore, law has its nomenclature.
Yeah.
And what Vice Chair was trying to tell you is that in the legal profession, for one to be called a consultant, there are some certain foundational accomplishments that you might have. And I also had you, in response, you kind of said that it's just semantics and words. Let me give you an example. When the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission was going around the country, I was a young scholar already with a master's, already teaching at the University of Nairobi, and they engaged me to do research for them. And therefore, if you go to my CV, you'll find me saying researcher. My senior colleagues, in return, were writing thematic papers on particular areas to the CKRC. And if you go to their CV, they would write consultant. What Vice Chair and Bore were asking you, what you have also admitted, that in those engagements, it was a firm that got you because of the background of what you are. It incorporated you. You are not the one being hired. You are being hired under the consortium of that firm. And therefore, you are not what they're trying to tell you, you are not the direct consultant. They are looking at the totality of the employees or the researchers or the expertise that that particular firm has on board before it is. So the firm is doing the consultancy. But Abdi Hakim, what they're trying to communicate, Abdi Hakim himself is not the causer. Would you change? That's what they were trying to persuade.
I get you, Prof. And I clarified.
Change your description I'm a consultant.
I get you. And I appreciate the question. And I know they're asking in good faith. What I wanted to clarify is this is in response to an advert. The word consultant is a relative word. Yeah? It doesn't necessarily speak of the number of years. It depends with the specific situation. An agency advertises for an assignment. Yeah? And that assignment has terms of reference which you have to download. It says that you should have people of this background. You should have a team leader, for instance. If the consultancy relates to financial issues, it says team leader with a background of finance, probably a PhD in finance. It goes ahead and says the composition of the team.
I think just respond to him.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So because of time, were you a consultant or were you assisting the consultancy? That's what he's trying to ask you.
So I'm coming.
Just respond to it directly.
Okay, I'm coming to that. So the terms of reference included in these specific assignments. There were team leaders.
Just trying to get
yeah.
So you
there were team leaders,
you want to
and then there was a requirement for somebody with a law degree. Yeah.
you want to stick to your consultant. I think that's what you are getting.
Yes, because the
Okay,
advert
thank
said
you. I think
a lawyer
that's
with law background only.
Thank you.
Basic
Thank you.
degree, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My other question relates to if we were to make you an IEBC commissioner, can you tell us, in your professional background, have you been involved in the improving of the image of a brand that had a negative public image, where using your skills and knowledge, you promoted public confidence in that organization, and how would you bring that to IEBC, if at all there you have had such an experience?
I don't think I understand the question. That have I been engaged in promoting?
In your professional background,
Yes.
consultancy,
Yes. Yeah.
and any other work you have done,
Yes.
post your degree,
Yes.
have you had an occasion in which you are working on an institution that had a bad image, and you helped improve its image? And if you have had such experience, how would you use the same in IEBC? But if there has not been none on that, I can ask a different question.
I can't really say I worked in an organization with bad image, but I participated in development of, or rather improvement of, an organization.
And how will that improvement impact on IEBC? How would you improve, using that experience, how would you improve IEBC given the challenges and the trust deficit that it suffers?
So I appreciate the challenges that IEBC is having, and part of it, as you said, is issues of trust deficit. One way I'll try to help in that is transparency in its operations, be it the use of technology or an audit of the what do you call the voters register, continuous stakeholder engagements, and incorporation of the views of both the public and all stakeholders to the extent that they align with the constitutional mandate of IEBC.
Chair.
Okay, thanks. I need to ask you a question again.
Yes.
You finished your KCSE in 2007.
Yes.
And when did you join university?
I joined in 2010.
What happened in between?
So I was admitted to the University of Nairobi. First of all, so that I get to explain that I took a 1 year, I deferred for 1 year. And because I didn't have, I insisted, my preference was medicine. So I consistently applied, and probably I was misguided, but I consistently applied for medicine. I was given actually suggestions outside the University of Nairobi, but I insisted on doing medicine at the University of Nairobi, and I could not get it. So when I could not get it, I was told to choose another program, and by then it was too late.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Prof, your last questions?
Chair, as I ask my question, let me say that when I was there, classmates, they were Gen Zs then. But they never salimiated me, so it means I was in their good books. Now, the youth are now a sensation. And in Senegal, last year, they elected a president who is a youth. Do you know his name?
Yeah, it's called, I don't know how it's pronounced, but Basiro Faye or something.
And my last question, what is the name of the acting Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Council And I can give you a leakage. She was our classmate.
Yeah, I know. Her name is Gloria.
That was our classmate. Thank you.
Thank you.
How, Prof, if you ask people about their classmates? Okay. It's been nice listening to you, Abdi Hakim, and I appreciated the time we have shared together. I want to allow you to ask a question or make a comment so that we can release you kindly.
I don't really have a question. Mine is to take this opportunity to thank this commission, or rather selection panel, the chair and all honorable panelists for the opportunity that you have granted me to appear before you and actually being shortlisted. I don't take that for granted. We rarely get such an opportunity, and if I make it, I think I'll make my contribution to the country. If I don't make it, I wish whoever is given that position the best of luck, and I'll still make a comment that in your own wisdom, may you find it fit to include a PWD, and it doesn't have to be me in this process, so that you also remember in history. And thank you.
Thank you. We are seized by that fact. Thank you, and we appreciate your coming. Thank you. Please remember to pick your certificates. You can now proceed. You get them at the door. Thank you. Thank you very much. Members, can I ask that we take the next candidate straight so that we can redeem some time? Okay, please, can you bring the next candidate? Mr. Abdinur Maalim Mohammed. No, Hussein. Abdinur Maalim Hussein, kindly. This one died off. Susan, we've gone for him. Okay. Abdinur, karibu ndugu. Please, keti tafadhali. Karibu kwenye jopo hili. Kazi yetu ni kuwa na maongezi pamoja nawe, kukujua na kujua ni kwa nini umetuma maombi kwa commissioner wa IEBC. And so we'd like to ask you at some point to introduce yourself, but let me begin by introducing myself and my colleagues here. Feel free. It's an open interaction, and you have a notebook before you and a pen, so you can use those. My name is Nelson Makanda. I'm the chair of this, and I want to turn to the vice chair to introduce herself. Thank you, vice chair.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Linda Kiome. Welcome to this interview session. Thank you.
Abdinur, habari ya adhuhuri. Naitwa Bwana Andrew Tanui, mwanachama wa jopo hili la uteuzi, na karibu.
Good afternoon. My name is Caroline Kituku, a member of the panel.
Good afternoon, Abdinur. My name is Adam Solo, a member of the selection panel.
Good afternoon, Abdinur. My name is Nicodemus Bore, a member of the panel.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatuma Ali Saman, a member of the panel.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hussein, and welcome to this discussion. My name is Koki Muli Grigno, and I'm a member of this panel.
Good afternoon, Hussein. My name is Evans Misati. I'm a member of this selection panel.
So thank you very much, members, for introducing yourselves. We want to ask you to introduce yourself to us, a brief profile of yourself, and why you think that you are suitable for this position. Kindly take like about 4 or so minutes to do this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and the members of the panel. My name is Abdinur Maalim Hussein. I am a Kenyan born 53 years ago in the wild waters of Mandera's South constituency of Mandera County. I joined the public service in 1992 as a technician trainee with the defunct Kenya Post and Telecommunication Corporation. Worked through the ranks, worked in many places in this country, up to the year 2012, where I transitioned upon the inception of devolution and to county government to be the inaugural chair of the County Public Service Board, a position I served for 5.5 years. There came another calling. I transitioned to be the county secretary, a privileged position of the county, for another 4 years. Currently, I am a CEO of a small petroleum company called Vitalec International Limited, here in Nairobi, based here in Nairobi. Basically, where I feel I am qualified for this position is because I had a very prosperous career life of public service. I have worked 21 years from the defunct Kenya Post and Telecommunication Corporation to Telcom Kenya for 21 years, worked through the ranks, trained in a technical field of radio and line transmission, which is an IT-oriented field. Thereafter, I moved to being the county secretary, the chair of the board. Chair, I want to highlight here to you and the members, it was not a rosy job to be a pioneer chair. Here, I came to a county that is already marginalized. The people of Mandera expected a lot of expectation from the devolution as the beauty of the promulgated 2010 Constitution. The staffing turnout we met was only 153. The demand against the demand of 6 already functioning sub-counties. Chair, through my leadership and a team of 6 members of the board, constitutionally formed as a result of the County Government Act of 2012, function highlighted in Section 58 of that Act. I worked diligently, professionally, with very high integrity, and ensured against all the odds of tribalism, nepotism, interferences, expectation of the people, various communities, others marginalized, others calling themselves others, and managed with the help of the committee members to recruit close to 2,400 staff by the time I was exiting that portfolio of the chair. So here I learned from the technical expertise that I attained in the 21 year of training and various other modules within telecommunication. Here I learned what is transformative leadership. I learned purely leadership through indulgence. I also had indulgence of Kenya School of Government, where I attended SMC, Senior Management Course, SLDP, to enhance my capacity, and that one helped me trigger that board to integrity to a point where we left a staffing turnout of 2,400. As the county secretary, chair, the county secretary is a fulcrum of the county government. You are the head of public service at the county level. They usually say, to whom much is given, much is expected. So the Constitution, through County Government Act, Section 44, gives the function of a county secretary. I was the secretary to the cabinet, the county cabinet. I used to disseminate information in time. I used to have enough stakeholder engagement, public participation on CIDP and many other modules in the county. There, I served 4 years, up to when the day I left. The last job I did was to hand over, to transition the governor from the existing governor to the new governor. Here, I was the chair by law of the Assumption of Office of the Governors Committee, which we did along with other people stipulated in law, made an official handover, one copy to the Assembly, one to the Governor's Office, and exited in a very professional way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Did you say you are County Public Service Board Chair or Secretary, County Secretary?
I was the Chair, County Public Service Board, Mandera, 2013 to 2018.
Yeah.
Yes, Chair of the Board.
Not Secretary?
No.
Okay, because you have used the two terms interchangeably.
I transited from the Chair of the Board and to the County Secretary in the second term of government.
Okay.
From 2018 to 2022, I was the County Secretary. 2013, 2018, I was the Chair of the County Public Service Board of Mandera.
Linda.
Thank you, Chairman. Now, with the wealth of experience that you got being and serving Mandera County as a county secretary and also the chair of the Public Service Board, give this panel an experience where your leadership was tried and tested during that period of time.
Thank you, Madam Linda. I want to give this panel one experience that almost costed my life. We are a county of 6 constituencies. There is a sub-county called Mandera West. We had a piece of land, and you know how land is in this country. The land has been demarcated, surveyed by the defunct local authorities, of which the surveyor who surveyed the land happened to be a county staff even within the 153 I inherited from the devolved functions and the local authorities at that time. So the surveyor was with us. There was a need for an airstrip in that sub-county. So many attempts were made before when I was not the county secretary. At that time, there were back and forth communication with KAA and the county government, and they said they want to come and see that piece of land, whether it is with viability and do some testing. So through a cabinet decision, I was tasked as the head of the county government, head of public service, to go and make sure I deliver on that piece of land. The land has already been encroached by cartels, because people never thought government land will be reclaimed, because the local authorities are no longer there. There's a new system of governance in place. So the cartels have already taken over the land because it was a very big chunk of land and prime. For that matter, I was tasked to go and deliver. This task had many attempts before me. So what I asked for was resource and the personnel required to go and do my bit. I was given enough security force, National Police Security Service members. I was given around 50 enforcement officers from the county. Then I was told to go and get that piece of land because the KAA guys are coming next week. We drove to the place, came safely amidst a lot of terror attacks and challenges of insecurity. We came safely. In the morning, the first thing we did was a public participation because people of that town know the piece of land and how it has been encroached. They are so much privy to all the information. I personally don't happen to come from the sub-county, but a neighboring sub-county. So when I came, through the public participation, people of Dakaba said they want that service there and then. And they said this piece of land belongs to the government. We did all the public participation necessities. We took pictures of the speakers. We invited the national government security forces and even the administration. Did all the requirements of public participation. Took a checklist, took an attendance sheet, everything. In the morning, when we wanted to do the job, already these cartels, some of them are here in Nairobi. Their colleagues already communicated to them. They drove overnight through Moyale route, came overnight. In the morning, the first thing we did was to hire a tractor. Ours was to demarcate the piece of land using the shovel of the tractor, sort of a creation of a road. So what happened, immediately we started some few, around 200-300 meters. Hell started breaking loose. The people came with a lot of goons. They started interrupting us. But I said, I have to deliver on this mandate. Because the land belongs to the government, I have to practice patriotism. The issue of grabbing government land should not be something within my watch. I made sure I don't budge to the plea of the people. To a level, some enforcement officers who come from the sub-county, the same sub-county, decided to side the cartels because they happen to be relatives. At this level, the information went all the way to the governor in Mandera. The governor spoke to me. He told me, your life is at risk, Abdinur. Please, think twice and see how you should stop that exercise, infertility. I told him, okay, Governor, I'm going to try my best, but I'll give you our final interaction with this exercise at the end of the day. I continued. To a level, a former retired administrator who happens to be part of this cartel decided to throw himself in front of the shovel. The tractor is moving like this. In the evening, they even went, they sent an SOS message across to get some guys with guns on a motorbike. Around 3-4 motorbikes came. I have some information through the community because I happen to speak the same language with them. They said, your life is at risk. Already they have brought guns. I told him, if today is my day, I'm a believer of death because I'm a Muslim, so be it. So we were moving behind the tractor with the 2 Land Cruisers full of security on our sides, the enforcement officers and some security at the back, up to when, almost around 6 p.m., we finished demarcating the entire piece of land. I gave the feedback to the governor at night. They were even looking for me at night. I decided to do 1 or 2 things and hibernated, spent. In the morning I came, wrote an OB.
Allow me to cut you short, just in the interest of time.
Okay.
Were you successful in
I was successful, Ms. Linda, and today, courtesy of my actions, and my risk-taking attitude, Mandera West Sub-County has a beautiful airstrip than even Mandera, which is within a military camp, and they're enjoying the facility to date.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Caro, Kituku, kindly ask the candidates some questions.
Thank you, Chairman, and welcome once more, Mr. Hussein. In the Kenya electoral system and the laws have been described by some people as being too restrictive towards the IBC realization of its mandate. Do you agree? The laws in Kenya, the electoral laws in Kenya, they've been described as being too restrictive. There's over-registration, it's too restrictive. Do you agree with such a statement?
I don't agree.
Tell us why you don't agree.
The reason why I don't agree, these legislative pieces, when they were being drafted, I'm sure the relevant stakeholders were invited. So legislations are made for man. When I say man, I believe the ladies here are also inclusive. So these legislations came through all the process of public participation, stakeholder engagement, everything, up to parliament, where pieces are discussed, some pieces are removed, some information is added. So I believe it is a whole composite kind of piece that should be favorable to all Kenyans.
All right, I hear you. So tell us about the electoral laws particularly, and why are they necessary?
Thank you, Madam Caroline. Electoral laws are there to guide us so that we have a peaceful coexistence with ourselves and with the community, within the community and with the environment. The electoral laws emanated from the 2010 Constitution of Kenya. Among the laws that were first enacted was the Election Act of 2011, the Iebc Act of 2011. Amongst the ones I remember, I'm not a lawyer, but I can remember some. Political Parties Act of 2011. We have Public Finance Management Act of 2012, and also some like this. We also have the Supreme Court advisory, like that one of number 7 of 2011.
Okay. Having mentioned the laws and having said that they are useful and they serve a particular need in a democratic society, what is then the gap that exists? And if you're successful and become a member of the IBC, how do you intend to address that gap, if at all there is any gap?
Thank you, Madam Caroline. I think the gap, in my understanding, there are legislative gaps, legislative bottlenecks. In this, I mean, we understand our legislature, how it works. When laws are taken through the legislative process of parliament, of course, there are those ones which might not favor the parliamentarians of the day. So here comes challenges because they seem not to be happy with whatever.
So maybe you can help us by starting to identify
legislative gaps. We have funding gaps. Basically funding gaps. Those are the two major challenges I can mention for now. For issue of legislative gaps, how we can overcome or address is to have some cordial consultative forum between IEBC as a commission and the legislature, because we are a stakeholder of the other and we need each other. It's just like the two hands. In this, we can do some lobbying through that consultative process, so that everybody sees this piece of legislature is an in for both parties. On financing gaps, finance is not enough for all the institutions in the country. So finance, the way you can is to lobby stakeholder, which is National Treasury, and Parliament also, which by and large, of course, the budget will be approved by Parliament. In doing this, you can ask for what's called multi-tier kind of budget process with the National Treasury, so that you don't have any gap in between in achieving your activities.
Hussein, allow me to ask specifically, what is the legal issue on the funding or the financing gaps, as you say? What is the inadequacy there in law?
The inadequacy in law of election financing is that election financing is an act that was passed by our parliament some time back, but implementation became a problem. So, because there was a court case, I don't know the entity, or I think it's part of parliament, members of parliament who took the same case to court. So election financing became a problem, so that IEBC could not even control the different sectors or the different players of people who usually take part in election.
Thank you, Mr. Hussein. I wish you well, and thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I ask Dr. Koki Muli to ask you some questions kindly.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon again, Mr. Hussein. I would like to ask you two brief questions, and please be precise and brief on them. The IEBC and the ECK before it have been accused of being complicit or allowing or even overseeing voter suppression. I would like to request you to give us 3 examples of how they or stakeholders in elections actually participate in voter suppression. 3 examples.
Thank you, Madam Koki. 3 examples of ECK voter suppression, or even IBC. Voters, an example is IBC not doing what's called voter rollout. If voter rollout, this is an exercise where voters who are either dead or transferred their votes are removed out of the register, and they don't end up being removed out of that register. So this one happens during voter rollout. Suppression also comes as a result of not doing enough voter education by IBC or ECK. Also, in my thinking, also ECK and IBC allows voter suppression by, let me rest at that.
Say that again?
No, I want to rest at that, I said.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just briefly, what do you mean by voter rollout?
Voter rollout is cleansing of the voter register of the people who are dead or who have transferred their votes out of the register.
Thank you. If you are successful and you become a member of the IEBC, what measures would you put in place with your colleagues who are successful? What measures would you put in place to ensure that we end voter suppression?
Thank you,
Just
Madam.
two measures.
We'll do continuous voter registration and strengthen the voter education sector of IEBC.
Thank you very much and all the best. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Now I want to ask FCPA Tanui to ask you some questions. Tanui, please.
Abdinur, you spent your 22 years at Postal Corporation? Yes. And you are a production clerk? Is that what you've said?
No.
What were you at Postal Corporation?
Finally, when I was leaving, I was the district telecommunication officer of Mandera South constituency at that time. District telecommunication officer, yes.
And for how many years?
For 10 years.
So in total at Telecom, you worked for 21 years, which is more than the years that you've worked in the county government. Actually double, isn't it? So those experiences that you gained at KPTC, how will you use them at IEBC, which is more than double your years of expertise?
Thank you, Mr. Tanui. Actually, I can say briefly, I've attained two experiences during the time I was with KPTC that transformed to Telecom Kenya later. One is technical expertise. The field I used to work in is in telecommunication. I was in radio online transmission, which is purely technical and IT based. So I believe IEBC being an IT oriented also entity, component of IT being in it, I have some leverage to offer for the post. Secondly, I have attained leadership skills because when I was in charge of the district, I was in charge of the equipment, which is my core mandate, leading the entire workforce within the sub-county under Telecom Kenya then.
Wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I invite Evans Misati to ask some questions.
Thanks so much, Chair. Hussein, from where you sit, what is your understanding of the overall public confidence of the current IEBC?
I can say it's fairly excellent.
The public perception about IEBC?
Public confidence?
Yes.
No, public confidence I can say is 70-30. 70 positive, 30 to the negative.
What do you think are the actions of the previous IEBC that makes the channel Kenya perceive that the public confidence is low?
Thank you, Mr. Msati. Public confidence is something you earn as an institution first. So why Kenyans have poor public confidence in the current IEBC is simply some processes within the election cycle is not clear to Kenyans. Especially the last time where the challenges we had was in the result transmission. So the ICT gadgets used by IEBC might be good, but to the public ear, the information is not with public. Number two, why public confidence is poor is because IEBC, for example, there was a poor voter registration exercise throughout the year, which is supposed to be a continuous process. So the registration and the voter education, all these activities were poorly done. Three, there was no proper engagement, stakeholder engagement of IEBC activities with the public. So the public and the IEBC as a commission are not in tandem in terms of the activities they are doing because stakeholder engagement was weak. Thank you.
So if you are given an opportunity and you are a member of the commission of IEBC, what will you do to improve that public confidence, particularly in line with communication?
One, I will really indulge in we will strengthen, along with the team, proper communication protocol of the organization. Have a standard code of conduct in place. Have regular stakeholder engagement. I think in so doing we'll improve the public confidence at that time.
Thanks so much, Chair. I wish you well.
You gave some percentages on public confidence.
Yes.
You said 70, 30. What was 70 and what was 30?
30 on the positive, that the public confidence is fairly good. 70 on the scale of people are having positive feedback of Iebc, and 30 to be on the negative. That's what I meant.
So the public confidence is at 70?
Is at 70, yes.
Okay. Let me ask Fatuma Saman, kindly ask some questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Abdinur, some of the principles of stakeholder engagement are consistency and responsiveness. So if you get a chance to become a member of the Iebc, how would you entrench these principles in the stakeholder activities that you're going to carry out?
Principles of consistency and responsiveness is key, not only in Iebc, but in all other organizations that need to achieve its goals. Consistency should be entrenched by not shifting goalposts. If you say voter education we are going to do in for example, town X on this and this date, we should not just change so that people become, there's a quagmire of communication in between. So you should be, consistency should be in all the steps of Iebc activities, post, pre, and during elections. And all those steps, consistency has to be in place. Responsiveness, you have to be responsive, of course, to what you are doing. We are responsible of the people, and we will ensure within the most of these activities, consistency and responsiveness are part of what is in the charter. So we will ensure we will go by the charter, and by and large, we'll also have what is called, Iebc will also have what is called election operation plan. All these activities are enumerated, day activities according to when and where it is done. Thank you.
Just give an example of an activity that would be meant specifically to entrench the value of responsiveness, and one on consistency. Actually, you've given one on consistency. Could you give on responsiveness?
Responsiveness will be responsible, Iebc will be responsible of its actions. Of course, an activity like voter registration, Iebc will entrench responsiveness by registering the voters in real time. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to invite Nicodemus Bore to ask you some questions. Nicodemus, please.
Thank you very much, Abdinur. Our members who are been commissioners of Iebc have faced various stress and pressure from political figures and political players. How would you maintain your independence?
Thank you, Mr. Bore. Of course, Iebc is not a stress-free institution. Of course, this is where election is involved, and election you'll only have a winner and losers. So stresses will come as a result of the people who lost the various seats of election. How we'll maintain stress-free Iebc is to have an all-inclusive decision. Decisions of the board should not be seen as a decision of a group of the board or the chair alone. It has to be owned by all the members and the chair. First is ownership of that decision that we make as commissioners. Number two, we need to have a good code of conduct for us, at least to tell us what is required of a commissioner, the conduct required of a chair, and the conduct required of the commission secretariat. So a good code of conduct, regular consultation forums within the boardroom, and also having a feedback mechanism between, so that if things do not work, there's a feedback mechanism of bringing it back to the commission boardroom, so that we ratify and agree upon. Thank you.
You know, from your CV, you worked as a chairman of Mandera County Public Service Board and was responsible for the promotion of values, principles of public service, and Article 232 of the Constitution. If appointed, how will you leverage on the experience to promote high standards of professionalism, ethics, and integrity at the Iebc Commission?
Thank you. This is the field I have delved in for 5.5 years, Mr. Bore. Here, what guided us most was Article 10 and 232 of the Constitution. I will strictly abide, because I left with a clean bill of sheet, with all the challenges. Of course, the setup there is about, the nitty-gritty is about the parameter of separating people is about clan, sub-clan, and sub-sub-clan. I have endured and made sure I balanced all those things in terms of the recruitment, promotion, disciplining that we've been doing in the county. So I'll still bring on board that. I'll be guided by the law, by the relevant laws, and paramountly the Constitution of Kenya 2010.
Okay, let me just ask you one or two questions before I ask Prof to come. As a county secretary in Mandera, what were your main roles, other than what you have mentioned, values, integrity?
Chair, the county secretary is the backbone of all the county activities in the county. Head of public service, secretary to the county cabinet, disseminating the cabinet information to the relevant department in the county, which are 10. Stakeholder engagement of various county activities. Entry person as in terms of correspondence communication in and out of the county with all the relevant bodies, including the national government. Those are among my major.
So you are the de facto supervisor of the government?
Correct.
In 2019-2020 financial year, you received a qualified audit from the Auditor General. And quite a number of things were raised, including unsubstantiated expenditures for many things, including insurance. It's a long statement, and you must have seen it. What would you attribute that to, the qualified audit report?
Chair, other than the de facto leader as the leader at the top, each department does its job according to the mandate given by the office they work in.
Mm-hmm.
These are the department that deals with issues of money is finance and procurement. This could be a challenge of finance and procurement staff. Of course, tendering process, how they issue insurance, these things. As we're only consumers of the product. Myself, I don't sit in the tender committee group. Neither am I the chairman of the tender committee. All I'm supposed to do is, when compliant bodies like PPOR, Auditor General's Office team come, they come to me as entry point. I give them to the right department, the technical department, leave. When they're leaving, I do an entry meeting with them.
What action did you take on this report?
Actually, we've taken action, and some staff professional certificates like the CPA certificates were recalled by CASNEP to do some punitive disciplinary measures to them.
Did you change your Minister for Finance?
Actually, the minister got demised as a result of Corona at that time. So by default, we got a new CC for Finance.
Okay, Professor Adam Solo.
Thank you, Chair. In answer to both Ms. Sati and the Chair, you indicated that public confidence in Iebc is 70% and lack of confidence is 30%. Would you care to tell the panel where you got that data from? Is there a polling company that you are quoting, or is it just you sitting there and saying, in my judgment?
Mr. Olo, that is my personal judgment. Because I'm a Kenyan, a consumer of information. I see what is happening on our print and social and TV media. Some things is just a cumulative of what I thought as Kenyans, the feeling of Kenyans, me being one of them.
So it's not based on any research, on any data?
I don't.
So you are telling this panel that you want to be a commissioner, and a commission that repeatedly there has been trust deficit on, that you will be a commissioner and you won't be using data to inform your decisions. That's what you're communicating. That you'll just sit there and say, I'm a Kenyan who consumes information, and therefore this is the way I think, and therefore this is how I'm going to base my decision based on what I've thought.
Chair, the decision of the commission is data-based.
And that's why I'm asking. You asked a question here.
No, that was my personal feeling.
And that's why I'm bringing it back. And you answered not based on data.
The commission activities is going to be based on data.
So I should ignore your answer.
Kindly ignore.
That was not based on data.
Kindly ignore.
Okay. The chair has just asked you about an audit report in which you are the county secretary. And of course, your answer has been that me, I'm just the entry point. It is those other accounting officers. As a county secretary, are you aware that you are the equivalent of the head of public service at the county? From where you sit, is it responsible for the head of the service to just answer casually that let the other accounting officers who get directives from me, that's their responsibility? Would you, for example, when you are a commissioner and there's something that has happened in Iebc, and you say, oh, go and ask that directorate, they are the ones who are dealing with that issue, go and ask that directorate. Mimi, I'm here at the policy level.
Thank you, Mr. Olo. Qualified opinion, when a county gets qualified opinion, they are usually invited to the Senate. The Senate does its constitutional bit, grills the officers, the same officers in that department, talk to the professional body that has given them the professional certificates, like most of them are in CPAK holders, and the action is usually taken by the constitutional body on how to recall back that professional certificate from that individual. So majorly ours is, once a qualified opinion is given by the Auditor General's report, it is the Senate to take the next punitive legislative bit.
Very true. But as the county secretary, a qualified report has already been given. You just leave it to the Senate. You don't do an internal housekeeping that, hey, guys, can you explain to me how we have ended up with a qualified report even before we go to the Senate? You don't have that kind of review just for your own internal human resource management.
Chair, some activities in the county, much as the county secretary is the head of public service, every department has got its own HR committee members, headed by the chief officer of that department. So they have taken some steps. There's something called Chira County Human Resource Advisory Committee where I head. So it came up to the Chirac level, and we gave some show cause letters, and they explained what they explained, and they said the remaining bit they will explain with the Senate.
Very well. You've stood at the apex of both human resource and head of service, first as chair of the Public Service Board, and now the county secretary. And within that period, a qualified audit report. What can you tell this election panel, the takeaway that we should take away from those two roles there that you have played in Mandera? What's positive, what's negative?
Chair, the positive thing you should take from my portfolio as chair of County Public Service Board is that we have professionally and ethically constituted a workforce from 153 to 2,400 without no much problems of litigation or whatever. Number two, as the county secretary, the take home here is I've done a lot of stakeholder engagement with the residents of Mandera County very successfully, including the one I just mentioned as the worst that I've ever seen. And the take home here is I have technical skills a bit from the defunct KPTC job I did for 20 years, leadership that I garnered through experiential learning and even through the leadership institutions like KSG where I've done SLDP and SMC, coupled, guided by the Constitution and the relevant acts, I have delivered for that county to the best of my ability, and the same I want to replicate if I'm given the position. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
And the negative lessons you draw from that season? As he asked those two questions.
The negative lesson is that meeting expectation, human expectation is difficult, especially meeting a Somali expectation, for that matter. So meeting expectation of our people was very difficult, and also interferences by politicians, both the executive and the county assembly being stakeholders of the government, was a big challenge. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to withdraw the profiling statement on the Somali people?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I made it in good note, and I would urge to withdraw.
Just a follow-up question. I hadn't looked at his certificates when I was asking him a question. You told us you left KPTC at what level in 2012? District telecommunication officer. But I've just looked at your certificates. You left as a intervention senior technician.
Yes.
Is what the letter from Telcom says.
Yes, I want to explain.
Yes.
The intervention senior technician is my trained portfolio, but responsibility I was holding at the district level was a district telecommunication officer in charge of other departments also.
So why didn't Telcom put it in that position, the responsibility you're holding?
Actually, they looked, that is a responsibility, and the Telcom of 2012 and today, they were looking for the files. They even said, these files are in the archives, but in the system they are seeing that the positions I have trained on and a senior technician intervention. That's why she wrote that certificate of service like that.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, you have some few questions from Professor Adam Solo.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are a veteran of devolution. Who was the first executive director of the Transition Authority?
I think Mr. Kinuthia Mbugua.
Mbugua.
Mbugua, yes.
What is the capital city of Gabon?
Libreville.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. We want to thank you that you took interest in this position. You have taken interest to come for this interview process. We want to thank you for your time and just open it up for you. Whether you have any question or comment to make, you're welcome kindly.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I want to thank the Chair and the panel for inviting me. Two, I believe I have what it takes for this position. I have some technical expertise, leadership skills, strategy, and formulated many strategies. Have made oversight over the entire county workforce. And in considering for this position, I believe I'm going to leverage on those experiences and leadership skills to steer the Electoral Commission to the level it is supposed to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our interview. Kindly feel free to pick your notebook and the pen, and do not leave your certificates with us. We wish you well and God's blessing. Asante. And I have a blessed Eid al-Fitr ahead. Thank you. Somebody please pick his certificates and take them to him. Members of the Fourth Estate, thank you very much for your work. We are extremely grateful to you. We break for lunch and we'll be back at 2:30. Thank you very much.
Naam, mtazamaji, zimekuwa ni picha za moja kwa moja bila shaka, ambapo wawaniaji wamekuwa wakisailiwa kwa siku ya kwanza na ambao wanawania kiti hicho cha makamishna, kikao cha kuwakagua makamishna wa Iebc ambacho kimekuwa kikiendelea. Wamechukua mapumziko mafupi tu, watakuwa kirejea baadaye kuwakagua wengine ambao wamesalia kwenye orodha. Kufikia sasa wamesailiwa makamishna wanne, na ambapo wa kwanza kusailiwa asubuhi hii ya leo amekuwa ambaye amekuwa akisailiwa asubuhi ya leo ni Abduba Molu Ido, ambaye alikuwa wa kwanza kufika kikaangoni. Abdi Hafidh Abdullahi Yaro akafuatilia akiwa wa pili. Abdi Hakim Adan Abdi akawa ni watatu, na wanne ambaye amekuwa akisailiwa sasa hivi ni Abdi Nur Maalim Hussein kutoka eneo la Mandera. Hapa studioni sipo peke yangu, ninaye Daktari Harun Isaac Hassan ambaye ni mtaalamu wa masuala ya uongozi. Atakuwa akisema nasi vile vile akitueleza labda maoni yake, mtazamo wake ni upi, na hususan kwa sababu ni mtaalam atakuwa patia mengi zaidi kuhusiana na mchakato mzima ambao umekuwa ukiendelea. Karibu sana daktari studioni.
Asante sana.
Na ni fahari yangu tena kubwa zaidi kuungana nawe hapa studioni kujadili masuala haya ambayo tumekuwa tukiangazia na kikao cha kuwakagua makamishna wa IEBC, lakini naelezwa kwamba tunachukua mapumziko mafupi, nitakuwa narejea nawe.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth, as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home, do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have it.
Karibu tena mtazamaji, shukrani sana kwa kuzidi kufuatilia runinga hii ya TV47. Tungali tunaangazia usaili wa makamishna wa IEBC. Kumbuka leo ni siku ya kwanza ambapo kikao hicho cha kuwakagua makamishna wa IEBC kimefanyika. Hapo jana na kuanzia siku ya Jumatatu wamekuwa wakikaguliwa wale ambao walikuwa kiwania kiti cha wenyekiti wa IEBC, na hii leo kikao cha kuwakagua makamishna wa IEBC kikaanza rasmi. Tayari wamekaguliwa wawaniaji 4, na baada ya mapumziko mafupi ya chamcha watakuwa wanarejea kuwakagua wengine. Na hapa studioni nilivyokuarifu kabla ya mapumziko mafupi ni kwamba ninaye mtaalamu wa uongozi, ni Daktari Harun Isaac Hassan, ambaye atakuwa akitusaidia katika kudadavua na kuchanganua masuala mazima kuanzia siku ya Jumatatu ambapo msasa huu ulianza. Karibu sana daktari studioni.
Asante sana.
Na tunaangazia IEBC na usaili wa makamishna ambao umekuwa ukiendelea kuanzia asubuhi ya leo, na vile vile usaili wa wale wenyekiti ambao ulikuwa ukifanyika hapo jana. Na labda swali ambalo ninaweza kulielekeza kwako kama mtaalamu wa uongozi ni kuhusiana na jinsi mchakato mzima umeendeshwa kuanzia kwa kamati yenyewe ambayo inafanya usaili hadi kwa wawaniaji wenyewe ambao wamekuwa wakifika mbele ya kamati hiyo kujibu maswali. Kwa mtazamo wako, unaweza ukasema mchakato mzima umekuwa ni wa aina gani?
Asante sana. Kwanza kabisa nashukuru kwa kunialika hapa. Na ni mzuri tuelewe kwamba hii process ya IEBC commissioners, ni mzuri wa Kenya waelewe kwamba hii ni political. It's a political process. Si ile interview process ambaye mtu ya kazi ya kawaida mtu hupewa. Sababu ya kusema hivyo ni kwamba wale panelist ambaye wameletwa huko walikuwa wametolewa kutoka group tofauti. Wengine wana represent political parties, wengine wana represent religious groups, wengine wana represent different type of mipango yao ambaye mahali walitolewa. Kila mtu ana mjadala yake ya kuangalia wakati ambaye ana interview hiyo mtu fulani. Tukikuja kwa interview, kwa hivyo expectation ya Kenyans inakuanga kuwa interview kama hii huwa watu wanapenda kuangalia ni nani ndio amesema ama amejibu maswali zimeulizwa kwa sahihi, ama ni nani ndio anakaa ni msomi mzuri kwamba swali yoyote yakijibiwa anajibu jinsi ambaye inafaa. Lakini kuna tofauti na wakati ambao saizi hao wanaulizwa hiyo maswali na kuna tofauti jinsi ambaye wanatakiwa wajibu kulingana na vile ambaye ratiba ya hiyo interview iliwekwa. Utakuta interview panelists wakiuliza candidates wakikuja tu mambo ambaye ya integrity. Kwa mfano utakuta integrity ya jamaa anaulizwa na inaweza kuwa ni historia wakati fulani ambaye ye alikuwa amepitia kitu ambaye inaweza ikaleta shida kwa integrity yake. Lakini hizo vitu kuna institutions ambaye zinaangalianga kama EACC, kama kotini. Mtu akipelekwa kotini na aambiwe wewe hauna kesi yote kujibu, basi hiyo kitu ya integrity ambaye watu walikuwa wamebandika ya hapo awali haitakuwa na dhamana yoyote.
Na nadhani hilo pia liliibuka jana wakati ambapo Akumu Robert Asembo alikuwa akisailiwa na alikuwa akiwania kiti kile cha mwenyekiti wa IEBC, kwamba tunarejea katika masuala ya nyuma kuangazia kesi ambazo mtu huyu amekumbwa nazo awali na kuzitumia kesi zile kama mojawapo ya vigezo ambavyo vinaangaziwa katika usaili huu.
Ni kweli ni kitu ambaye utakuta hata bunge wakiwa wakipiga mchakato wa mawaziri ama ma-PSs wakati ambayo wanatakiwa waangalie, wakati ambayo wanafanya hizo interview zao. Sana sana utakuta watu wakiangalia vitu ambaye haina msingi, vitu ambaye mtu binafsi hafai kusema mbele ya kamera. Ni kitu ambaye anafaa kama kuna evidence fulani useme tumepata evidence hii kutoka kotini, tumepata ambaye ulikuwa umeshtakiwa na ukahukumiwa na hii, ama uko na kesi ambaye sahi iko EACC, ama iko mtu fulani amekupeleka kotini, ama mtu fulani ameandika malalamishi. Lakini hizo malalamishi ama hizo vitu kama hazina ile inaitwa confirmation ama kutoka institutions ambayo wanafaa kupeana hizo vitu, basi haitakuwa na msingi. Ni kusumbua tu candidate ambaye ako kwa interview. Na interview si kusumbuana. Interview si kuangalia kama wewe umepitiza kuchukua hiyo kazi. La, interview ni kujuana na mtu huyo vizuri, ndio uone kama ujuzi wake inaweza kufaa institution ambaye yeye anachukua. Kwa hivyo utakuta maswali zingine hazina msingi. Lakini pia jinsi ambaye mimi nilikuwa nimesema hapo awali kwamba hii process ya IEBC commissioners si kama zile zingine. Hii ni political. Kwa hivyo maswali yoyote ikiulizwa, pia huwezi ukasema kwamba wao wako na makosa kubwa. Inaweza kuwa ni vile ambaye design yao iliwekwa. Lakini kuna swali moja ningependa kuuliza, kwa sababu interview inafaa mtu mmoja aulizwe swali moja na yule mwingine pia aulizwe swali hizo tu. Ndio angalau uweze kusema kwamba swali hiyo moja niliuliza watu kadhaa, huyu alipata kiwango hii kwa sababu alikuwa amejibu swali vile inafaa, ama huyu hakuweza kutimiza ile kiwango inafaa, kwa hivyo hakuweza kupata max kiasi hii. Hiyo ni wakati ambaye unapatia mtu ile kitu inaitwa test, ama responding to same questions so that you can be measured.
Kwa hivyo unazungumzia ule usawa wakati wa kujibu maswali.
Lakini sasa tunaona
hapo tutakuwa tunarejea. Wacha tusikie upande wa Taita Taveta wanasema nini kuhusiana na mchakato huu mzima wa kuwasaili makamishna, labda matarajio yao yameweza kuafikiwa. Tutakuwa tunaungana naye mwandishi wetu wa habari Julius Mariki ambaye amesema na wakazi wa eneo hilo.
Na mshukran sana Andreni Kilemi. Na kwenye kaunti ya Taita Taveta basi na paungana na baadhi ya wakazi tukizungumzia tu kupata kauli zao kuhusu mchakato mzima wa kuwapiga msasa ama kuwasaili, shughuli ambayo imekamilika jana ya mwenyekiti, na hivi leo kumeanza shughuli ya kuwatafuta wale ambao ni makamishna wa IEBC. Nitakuwa napata maoni yao. Pengine Abo, tueleze tu moja kwa moja, umefuatilia mwenyekiti, shughuli imekamilika jana, leo imeanza ya wale makamishna, pengine unalipe la kusema kuhusiana na shughuli nzima?
Mimi kitu nasema ni kwamba mchakato huu na majukumu haya ni majukumu makubwa sana. Sisi tunataka mtu yote akipata nafasi pale, nataka fair, free and fair elections. Na Wakenya wengi, sio Wakenya wengi, Wakenya wote tunaangalia hii IEBC itafanya kazi namna gani. So the issue here is kila mtu achukue jukumu lake kisawasawa na kidhabiti, na ajue ukweli uwe ukweli, sio ukweli uwe urongo, ama urongo uwe ukweli. That's what we want. We don't want problems. We have seen so many problems from 2007 mpaka sasa. Hakuna elections zimefanyika ambazo mtu anasema hapa kweli ulifanyika kweli. Zina kila wakati kotini, watu wanalalamika. So we want people who are actually for this country. Yeah. And say the truth, whether it means wewe ufe kufa, lakini umesema ukweli.
Asante sana bwana Kitolo. Karibu Abo hapa hivi, pengine karibu kwenye TV47, ikiwa ni mara yako ya kwanza kuzungumza nasi. Tueleze maoni yako ni gani kuhusiana na shughuli hii?
Asante sana baba kwa kunipatia nafasi hii ili kueleza mchakato vile nasikia kuhusiana na mchakato unaendelea. Nimekuwa nikifuatilizia zile interviews zilikuwa zikiendeleza machairman. Wengine wakizungumza unaona kweli wana nia safi, wengine nao kidogo wana kitu. Nasema ni kwamba ile nini, I think what can credibility should be the first thing. Pia tunafurahi manake sasa at long last kuna ungwa IEBC. Unajua tumekaa siku nyingi sana bila IEBC, ambako sisi kama wazee tunaanza kuona kwa nini inaendelea. Lakini tunaomba wale ambao watachaguliwa ama watapata zile nafasi wasipewe kulinganisha na party affiliations, wasipewe kulinganisha na tribal affiliation, lakini wapewe kulinganisha na kile wanaweza kufanyia Kenya hii. Manake IEBC ndio maisha ya Kenya. Endapo utakuwa na bodi mbaya, basi Kenya itakuwa mbaya. Endapo utapata bodi nzuri, basi Kenya itakuwa nzuri. Yeah.
Na pengine sasa imani ipo ambapo Wakenya tuko na imani ya kwamba sasa tutapata IEBC ambayo tutaiamini.
You see, IEBC ni constitutional body. So at all costs lazima ikae pale. Lakini sasa lengo letu ni kwamba tunaelezea wale ambao huenda kesho wakapata nafasi ya kuingia pale. Tuko hapa, wananchi, wazee kama sisi tunaangalia, wajue kwamba maisha ya Kenya kwao. Endapo watafanya mambo ambayo ni kinyume kidogo na sheria vile ilivyo, basi watakuwa wametunguza. Yeah.
Asante sana Bo kwa kauli yako. Andrin Kilemi, ukisikia hao ni baadhi tu ya wazee katika kaunti ya Taita Taveta wakitoa maoni yao kuhusiana na shughuli nzima ambayo inaendelea kuwatafuta makamishna wa IEBC. Naregesha usukani kwako studioni, mie ni Julius Mariki, kaunti ya Taita Taveta.
Asante sana Julius Mariki hapo, mwandishi wetu wa habari kutoka Taita Taveta akisema na wakazi kuhusiana na matarajio yao ya leo ambapo usaili wa makamishna wa Iebc umekuwa ukifanyika. Hapa studioni sipo peke yangu, ninaye Daktari Harun Isaac Hassan, ni mtaalamu wa masuala ya uongozi, vilevile ameungana nasi wakili Silas Akiro ambaye pia atakuwa akitoa mchango wake kwenye kipindi. Lakini kabla sijakupisha wakili, daktari, hapa ulikuwa na neno kuhusiana na maswali yanayoulizwa wakati ambapo wawaniaji hawa wanafika mbele ya kamati kujibu maswali. Na pendekezo lako au mtazamo wako ni kwamba maswali haya yanastahili kuwa sawa kutoka kwa mwaniaji wa kwanza hadi wa mwisho. Pole sana nilikatiza mtiririko.
Asante sana. So nilikuwa nasema kwamba kwa interview swali ambaye zinatakiwa ziulizwe kila candidate ni swali moja. Kwa sababu ukiuliza swali tofauti kila candidate hautakuwa na fursa ya kusema kwamba swali hii ambayo tulikuwa tumeuliza watu watatu ama wanne walijibu kiasi hii ama wanaweza kuwa waseme wamepata kiasi hii. Kwa sababu the essence of measurement, ile ya kusema kwamba lazima mtu tuangalie uwezo yake ya kufanya hiyo kazi, ni jinsi ambaye yeye anajipackage, zile ambaye anapeana hizo maswali, majibu zake. Na ikiwa swali ni tofauti, shida ile ambayo itatokea ni kwamba mimi naweza kuwa nijibu swali moja vizuri na hiyo swali nipate max mzuri, na yule mwingine ile swali ingine aliulizwa tofauti na mimi, iwe ni swali kidogo ngumu ama akose kujibu vizuri apate max kidogo. Lakini swali moja ukiulizwa unaweza ukajua ama useme ni nani ndio ajibu kwanza na nani ndio alijibu vizuri, kwa sababu swali yenyewe ni moja tu. Hata unaweza ukasema huyu amenipea jawabu mzuri, inaweza kuwa hii jawabu yake ifike kiasi na huyu mwingine ni kiasi. Ile kitu ambaye ni muhimu ambaye sisi tunaona saa hii ingefanywa ni kwamba hizi maswali zingekuwa ni za siri. Kila mambo ya kuweka kwa televishoni ambaye candidate ile mwingine anasikiza jinsi ambaye huyu mwingine anajibu. Kwa hivyo yule mtu ya kwanza hana bahati, kwa sababu yeye hakuna swali ambaye yeye alikuwa anajua ambaye itakuja kuulizwa. Na swali za interview sana sana kama ni kazi kama hii inakuanga ni ya inaitwa sets of questions for interview. So mimi naona huko sio fair. Wakili maybe atatuambia kama kitu kama hiyo ikitendeka ni nini ndio ifanywe, kwa sababu wengine wanaweza wakaenda kotini waseme swali ambaye nilikuwa nimeulizwa unaweza kunimesha na mimi peke yake, lakini huwezi kucompare na mimi na yule mwingine ambaye alijibu swali lingine.
Na kabla hata hajajibu swali hilo, wakili, labda nisikie kutoka kwako mchakato mzima wa usaili wa makamishna na vilevile usaili wa wale ambao walikuwa wakiwania nafasi ya kuwa mwenyekiti. Kwa mtazamo wako umekuwa vipi the whole process of vetting?
Bikilemi, kile ambacho naweza kuchukua kutoka kwa usaili wote ni kwamba mara hii hawajaifanya ipasavyo. Kunao upungufu kidogo ama kiasi ambacho kinaweza kuangaziwa katika mchakato wote. Kwa mfano, kuna baadhi ambao wanaona ni kana kwamba maswali ambayo yanaulizwa ni marefu kuliko majibu. Na maswali yenyewe sio ya ufasaha. Yani hayajalenga kile ambacho tunahitaji kujua ama kupata kutoka kwa wale ambao wanasailiwa. Kwa hivyo katika mchakato wote kuna upungufu kiasi. Ndio.
Na hilo swali ambalo amelielekeza kwako daktari hapa kuhusiana na jinsi ambavyo maswali yanaulizwa kwa wawaniaji. Kwa mfano leo tumekuwa na wawaniaji 5, lakini hadi kufikia sasa ni 4 ambao wamesailiwa. Kwa hivyo kwa mtazamo wake ni kwamba yule wa kwanza alikuwa hana leakage hata kidogo, lakini labda huyu ambaye hajasailiwa hadi kufikia sasa amekuwa na muda kidogo kujipanga, kwa sababu amekuwa akitazama runinga, amekuwa akiona jinsi ambavyo maswali yamekuwa yakiulizwa. Katika sheria hilo linatokea vipi? Je, mtu anaweza kujitokeza akasema kwamba mimi nilikuwa wa kwanza kuulizwa maswali na hivyo basi hauwezi kunilinganisha na yule ambaye alikuwa wa mwisho?
Bigilemi, kile ambacho lazima tukijue sisi kama Wakenya ni kwamba katika usaili wa wanakamati ama makamishna wa tume ya Iebc, ni tume hii ni tume iliyo tofauti na tume zingine huru, kwa sababu hii ndio tume ambayo imeegemea udemokrasia wa nchi yetu. Na demokrasia haswa inapatikana kwa zile mamlaka au nguvu wanazopewa au wenye au makamishna kutoka kwa wananchi wenyewe kupitia kwa katiba yetu. Kwa hivyo wanataka kuwa pamoja na wasaili wa makamishna hawa. Wanataka wafuatilie na kujua ni nani tunayempatia kiti katika tume hii. Kwa hivyo kwa usiri siwezi kuipatia 60 au 70. Huenda kwa kitengo kidogo tu, sioni kama usaili wa makamishna wa tume ya Iebc inafaa ikuwe kisiri. Ya pili, katika ule mfano ambao ndugu yangu ameweza kupeana kwa kutoa usawa wa maswali ambayo yanaulizwa na paneli hili la wasaili wa makamishna, waweza kuzingatia kwamba hata pale shuleni kwa mfano, tukianza tukiwa wadogo maswali ndio yalikuwa sawa, lakini tunapoingia kwenye shule ya upili unapata kuna sehemu ya A ambayo maswali yote ni sawa, kisha sehemu ya B kuna maswali mengi zaidi na unaambiwa uweze kujibu yale ambayo unafanya nini? Unaweza. Kwa mfano, katika usaili huu ndio ni usaili kwa kiti kimoja, ndio ni usaili kwa tume moja, lakini katika ule usawa kuna jinsi kila mtu akona uwezo wake kitofauti ambao ukiletwa pamoja unafanya tume kuwa kamili. Kila mtu analeta abilities, analeta uwezo tofauti tofauti kwenye tume hii, analeta mawazo tofauti tofauti kwenye tume hii, na ndiposa maswali, hata maswali ambayo yanaulizwa Bikilemi, ukiyaangalia si maswali ambayo yatakuwa magumu sana kwa mtu kujibu. Kwa mfano majina na kuweza kuangazia tajriba au wasifukazi wao. Maswali haya sioni jinsi vile yanapaswa kuwa ya siri ama yanapaswa kuwa fiche kwa mwananchi wa kawaida.
Kwa hivyo napendekeza yasalie kwa umma, yaangaziwe tu televisheni.
Naam, kwa sababu tume hii yenyewe ni ya kidemokrasia.
Haya, kwa kumalizia
moja tu nataka kufunza ndugu yangu wakili. Unajua mimi ni mwalimu ya university. Na unajua watu wakiongea juu ya kusema kwamba jinsi ambayo tunaweka maswali shuleni na jinsi ambayo maswali ya interview tunawekanga ni tofauti. Sababu interview si ati unaangaliwa masomo yako ama jinsi ambayo umeielewa kitu, masomo fulani. La, ni kujua wewe vile ambayo utaweza kuleta faida kwa ile kazi ambayo ama kampuni ambayo inakuajiri. Kwa hivyo umuhimu ya interview iko na standard sets, ile inaitwa structured questions for interviews. Na hizo structured questions zinamaanisha kuwa hizo questions lazima kila mtu apatiwe the same questions, ndio uwe na uwezo ya kusema kwamba swali hii watu 5 walikuwa wamejibu, huyu alijibu kwa uwezo wake kiasi hii, kwa hivyo anapatia marks ile inaitwa 10 because iko grading. Na iko hii because hiyo grading unlike ile examination ya kawaida ya shule ambayo kila swali ukifanya unapatiwa marks yake yote. Hii haina marks yake yote. Iko kitu inaitwa grading. Ile ambayo unaweka 0 to up to 5 ama 3 na ama depending on vile marks unataka kuweka. Na hizo gradings, the only way unaweza kuweka hizo grading ni wakati ambaye kila mtu ameambiwa ajibu swali hiyo, ndio ukasema huyu amejibu kulingana na uwezo yake akapata grade 1, huyu amepata grade 3. Hizo hisabu ndio inaleta inatatua ni nani ndio achukuliwe na ni nani ndio asichukuliwe, kwa sababu hapa hatutafuti nani ndio anajua hii kazi ama nani ndio ametimiza kuchukuliwa kwa hii kazi. La, hii kazi kila mtu amepita. Mara tu ukiwekwa kwa shortlisting, wewe unajua kwamba utaweza ukafanya hiyo kazi. Ndio employer anasema hii watu ambaye nimechagua kutoka hapa, kuna ile filtering ama shortlisting process ambaye kusema kwamba kila mtu siwezi kufanyia mtihani. Kwa hivyo wale ambaye wamepitisha zaidi kulingana na makaratasi walileta, hawa ndio tutakuja kuangalia kujua hawa ni faida gani watakuja kuleta kwa kampuni ambaye anaandikiwa. Kwa hivyo mtu saizi amepelekwa shortlisting, yeye tunajua ni mtu anaweza akakuwa commissioner wa IEBC. Ile kitu sisi tunataka ambaye ni muhimu ni kwamba siri ya maswali ndiye itasaidia wale ambaye fairness, ile inaitwa nini kwa lugha ya usawa, kuhakikisha usawa kwamba mimi sijadhulumiwa kwa sababu ya kwamba mimi sikuwa najua hizo swali zinaulizwa namna gani, na mwingine amejua vile swali hizo zinaulizwa, anajibu vizuri kushinda mimi, kwa sababu mtu ataenda kusoma kidogo akiona swali vile zinaendanga.
Naam, asante sana daktari kwa hilo. Natamani sana tungekuwa na muda zaidi, lakini naelezwa kwamba tutakuwa tunakomea hapo kwa sasa. Wakati mwingine labda tutakuwa tunajadili mengine hata zaidi, lakini tunakomea hapo kwa sasa. Shukran sana Daktari Harun Isaac Hassan ambaye ni mtaalamu wa masuala ya uongozi. Wakili, asante sana kwa mchango wako kwenye kipindi. Ni wakili Silas Akiro ambaye amekuwa akizungumza nasi, pia kwako mtazamaji kwa kufuatilia usaili wenyewe ambao umekuwa ukiendelea kuanzia mwanzo hadi tamati. Lakini kabla ya kuondoka, labda tuangazie taarifa moja hapa, ambapo katika juhudi za kutoa suluhisho kwa wafanyabiashara na kuwezesha biashara kwenye teknolojia za hivi punde za maendeleo, washirika wa biashara ya kidijitali sasa wanasema mifumo ya malipo imekuwa muhimu katika kuboresha matumizi ya wateja. Akizungumza wakati wa kongamano la malipo la sekta ya utalii nchini hapa jijini Nairobi, mkurugenzi mtendaji wa chama cha mawakala wa usafiri Nikanor Sabula amesisitiza kuwa TIPS mwaka wa 2025 inategemea mafanikio ya uzinduzi kwa kuzingatia upya hatua za utumiaji teknolojia bora za malipo. Naibu mkurugenzi kitengo cha huduma za malipo ya kidijitali katika Benki Kuu ya Kenya, Juanita Omanga, amesema Kenya imekuwa mstari wa mbele katika zamu hii, huku huduma za pesa za simu zikiimarisha ujumuishaji wa kifedha na kurahisisha malipo.
Introduction of a variety of digital payment, tools, the coming in of bitcoins, the coming in of cryptocurrencies. These are just some of the opportunities that we are finding available. And so the question we want to ask ourselves is, how can we take advantage of such opportunities for the travel business to be able to grow? So travel agencies, whether you're in the airline, whether you're in hotels, these are a platform that gives you the opportunity to scout and see what's happening across the industry.
Emerging technologies are paving the way for better solutions. Contactless and tokenized payments allow travelers to enjoy the ease of tap-and-go transactions. Blockchain technology offers transparent, faster and cost-effective international payments. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are enhancing fraud detection, while biometric authentication, such as fingerprints and facial recognition, is improving security and improving the user experience.
Travel is volume and as numbers. The numbers have grown exponentially. We have 73 billion that was done 2024 within the travel space. That's a big number, and we want to push that number through the tech environment. Through this summit, we'll be able to engage the pace setters in understanding the best ways of adopting technology in travel.
Zaidi ya wakulima 30,000 wa kahawa kutoka kaunti 7 zinazozalisha zao hilo hapa nchini wamejisajili katika mradi wa Arabica ambao ni ushirikiano na taifa la Italia. Wakulima hao wanatarajiwa kunufaika katika sekta mbalimbali muhimu katika uzalishaji wa kahawa, ikiwemo mafunzo maalum ya kuongeza pato la zao hilo ambalo kwa muda limekuwa likipungua. Vilevile wakulima hawa wanatarajiwa kunufaika na soko la kahawa kutokana na ushirika huu, sawa na kuimarisha uhusiano baina ya taifa la Kenya na Italia.
We have a target of beneficiaries achieved of more than 30,000 farmers for the training, both in agriculture and in governance, 21,000 on coffee cupping. We distributed to the farmers, we equipped actually 7 laboratories for coffee cupping, 1 per county, either with the county government or with the union of cooperatives. And we distributed 7 eco-pulpers, 1 per county again, which are processing machines which are environmentally friendly because they use less water, less energy and less manpower.
We facilitated the farmers to go for international fairs, and these international fairs of course is to expose them to markets beyond Kenya. So they've managed to participate at SIGNET in Italy. We took some farmers there. We also took farmers to Copenhagen, where they were also able to create good contacts, and now they are those that are selling actually as we speak. And then earlier this year we also took them to Arusha, where they met also quite good number of potential buyers.
Our collaboration with Kenya is a power example of how the two nations can combine the expertise but also the resources to create a lasting and meaningful impact. And on the coffee, Italy remains deeply invested in the potential of the Kenya coffee sector. And this is also demonstrated by not only the discussion that we have held in this last year with different stakeholders, also to see what next.
Maafisa wa idara ya upelelezi ya makosa ya jinai wameanzisha msako wa washukiwa wanaodaiwa kumpiga risasi mwakilishi wadi wa Burat Nicholas Lorot Jumatano jioni katika mji wa Isiolo. Akithibitisha kisa hicho, naibu County Commissioner wa kaunti ya Isiolo amedai kuwa maafisa wa upelelezi wameanzisha uchunguzi kufuatia kisa hicho, huku mwakilishi wadi huyo akiendelea kupokea matibabu katika hospitali ya St. Teresa katika kaunti ya Meru.
Kependa kuhusiana na yale yaliyotokezea jana jioni kama saa 10 minutes to 8, ilikuwa saa 1 na karibu dakika 50 hivi pale Northern Galaxy Hotel. Kulikuwa kuna MCA wa Mandera Board anaitwa Nicholas Lorot Ewoton. Walikuwa na kikao na mwenzake Lemantile wa Oldonyiro na vijana wengine wawili walikuwa wanakunywa chai. Kidogo akatokezea nje kupiga simu. Ndio maana wakati alikuwa ameingia kwa gari yake kupiga simu, kijana mmoja alikuwa amevaa kama mtu wa boda, alikuwa amevaa helmet na reflective jacket. Akatokezea ni kama alisema something ambaye ule MCA kusikia vizuri. Wakati ameteremsha kioo akachomoa pistol na akampiga risasi.
Na wafanyabiashara katika mtaa wa Kunda Kindu mjini Kitui wanakadiria hasara kubwa kufuatia mvua iliyonyesha usiku kucha. Wanadai kuwa kuzembea kwa serikali ya kaunti kujenga mitaro ya kupitisha maji ndiyo sababu kuu ya mafuriko haya yaliyoharibu mali. Wanataka serikali ya kaunti hiyo kuchukuliwa hatua kama kuchukulia hatua jambo hilo kama la dharura kabla ya kuandamana.
Mvua ikinyesha kuko na shida ya maduka. Saa yote maji inaingia kwa maduka, inaharibu vitu za wafanyakazi. Hata kwa nyumba za kulala kuko na mashida. Na hii mashida yote tumeshapeleka kwa account na hatupati usaidizi. Tunaomba serikali ya kaunti ya Malombe atume wale wanafaa kushughulika na hiyo mambo ya mitaro, hiyo maji.
Hakuna biashara tunaendesha saa hii siku ya leo. Tunaendelea tu kutoa maji. Na mkiangalia katika picha mtaona kila mtu wote hapa tuko na watu kama 20 kwa kusaidia kutoa maji. Kwa hivyo tunauliza watu wa account washughulike na hii mtaro iko hapa juu. Hii imepita hapa hospitali kwa sababu imeblock.
Viongozi wa Kirinyaga wanapigia upatu ziara ya Rais William Ruto eneo la Mlima Kenya kuanzia juma lijalo, huku wakiwahimiza wakazi wa eneo hilo kuunga mkono ziara yake. Wamesema ziara hii ni fursa muhimu ya kuhakikisha miradi iliyokwama inakamilika na miradi mipya inaanzishwa kulingana na ahadi alizotoa katika ziara zake za awali. Mwakilishi wadi wa Kerugoya Eric Mushina amesisitiza umuhimu wa maendeleo badala ya siasa, akitoa wito kwa Rais Ruto kuhakikisha rasilimali zinatolewa ili kukamilisha miradi iliyosimama kwa manufaa ya wakazi wa eneo hilo.
Ni vizuri rais akikuja akirudisha hawa wanakandarasi wa China wenye walikuwa wanafanya zile miradi, awarudishe tu, awalipe pesa, warudi site, kwa sababu hizi barabara zimeanza kubomoka, hazifanyiangu repair. Kuna mahali pia hawakukamilisha hizo barabara. Tungeomba rais afanye bidii akikuja.
What people resident of Kirinyaga needs today is development. It is not politics. When it comes to politics, that is an agenda we are going to tackle when we get to that point, and we are ready for that. So those people who think us being in government, we don't know what we are doing, we owe the people of Kirinyaga the responsibility of services, we owe them the responsibility of good health care, we owe them the responsibility of good education system, we owe them the responsibility of empowerment. And that is why we have to be within the government, because the position we serve, we are given by the people of Kirinyaga in trust.
Wakazi wa wadi ya Garsen, kaunti ya Tana River, wamehimizwa kuwatafutia watoto wao vyeti vya kuzaliwa. Kulingana na mwakilishi wadi wa Garsen Magharibi, Mahmud Gabo, wazazi wengi hawajatilia maanani swala la vyeti vya kuzaliwa licha ya kuwa na umuhimu mkubwa katika maisha ya watoto wao. Aidha, Gabo amesema tayari ameanza mpango wa kuwapeleka maafisa wa kusajili vyeti hivyo katika baadhi ya shule ya msingi ya Garsen ili watoto waweze kusajiliwa huko, akiwaomba wazazi ushirikiano kufanikisha zoezi hilo.
Changamoto hiyo ya watoto kukosa birth certificate ni ulegevu ambao unatokea kutoka kwa wazazi, kwa sababu mzazi ndio anapaswa kuchukua majukumu ya kumtafutia mtoto wake birth certificate. Lakini mahali imefika, mtoto hawezi kuwa registered bila kuwa na birth certificate. So mimi nimechukua juhudi ya kuweza kuleta watu wa civil registration waweze kufanyia registration watoto pale shuleni, na mimi niweze kusimamia ule mchango, kwa sababu ninaona ule ulegevu inatokana na wazazi, na wazazi wanapaswa kuelewa ya kwamba mtoto wangu ni lazima akuwe na birth certificate na kesho aweze kupata kitambulisho. Ikiwa hapa kwa birth certificate imeshindikana, kesho kupata cheti cha kitambulisho inakuwa ni ngumu. Kwa hivyo tunapaswa kuchukua majukumu yetu kama wazazi.